Part 2 of the Fellowship of the Ring is brought to you by the first half of the Fellowship of the Ring, and we surprisingly had to talk it into it.
Also brought to you by Longbottom Leaf. This was written in the 60s. You know it's pot.
And also brought to you by... Does this really need commercials? I mean, it's long enough.
Hey everybody, we are still watching the Fellowship of the Ring, and you are still listening to Miscast commentary.
We never stopped.
You're listening to Miscast Commentary, where two guys have seen way too many movies and have way too much time on their hands.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Now here's your hosts, Joe Findley and Todd Murray.
Everybody, welcome back to Miscast Commentary for some more Lord of the Rings action. I'm Joe Findley.
And I'm Todd Tebow, the Sailor Murray.
And this movie's still going. You're going to say, hey, last week we almost went 2 hours, and this week we're still going? And I'm going to say, yes, we're still going. I said extended cut, Blu-ray.
He meant it.
Those Blu-ray discs fit a lot on them.
Like it wasn't a Laserdisc extended version.
And Peter Jackson was like, fill them up then. Any wasted space is a waste of money. And they were very frugal about it. I don't know why. It's not his money. Well, actually, a lot of it was his money. So, yeah, they didn't waste a penny. And here we go. Let us press play.
Pressing play now. And you know what? My name is no longer, for this episode, Todd Tebow, the Sailor Murray.
All right.
You can call me Mastodon Jr.
Mastodon Jr.?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to call you Todd if that's fine.
Fuck that.
All right. Sorry.
Here we go. So what did we leave off on? Oh yeah, I liked where they ended off on where he's like, where are we going?
Yeah, it was just a...
It's like a really good place to end it off.
It's a fun little tag because it's not like, oh, we're brave enough to go. It's just, yeah, we agreed to whatever.
I don't even know where the hell we're going here.
What's happening next? Are we going on a bus trip?
He's loafing around.
Yeah. I believe this is supposed to be his mother.
It is? Yes. Oh yeah, because he's the king. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, man.
But there's so many things, and again, mostly in the extended cuts that you learn about him, like you learn in Two Towers how old he is, and you like all these kind of things where you'd never guess, right?
I thought it was so strange too with what they cut out too, because it was a lot of character information. Like we'll get into more details in the next one.
Yeah,
but like Boromir, like when you watch the extended editions, you get so much more of Boromir and Sean Bean's backstory and where they came from, and it's like and you
introduce a whole nother character,
and they tell you what happened to Saruman. Because by the end of the movie, you're just like, well, what happened to him?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where did he go?
So, yeah, I said last week that my favorite scene was coming up, but it's actually this scene. Sting is a gorgeous sword.
Yes, it is.
Put that up. He actually has that. In an interview, he said he keeps it in a crawl space because he doesn't want it to be stolen if somebody were to break into his house.
Right.
So it's not prominently displayed anywhere. It's hidden away.
Mithril.
The Mithril vest was made, that's the one that was made. When you see him wearing one, he usually just unbuttons his shirt and he's wearing basically a tight t-shirt that just has a little bit of mithril here. So here we go. There's this little scene. We're just about to get it. But you see the obsession, and he's playing it so well, kind of like a little bit of a drug addict, a little bit of a, I don't really know how to explain
No, that's exactly
it.
Yeah, yeah.
But is this reach right here. So,
I remember. Wasn't Adam with us when we watched this movie? Maybe I went again with Adam Ray.
I was.
And I thought he was going to jump out of his seat when he did that, and I laughed.
Yeah, it was. So great way that they shot that. That was actually that wasn't makeup or CG. That was a puppet. And they put the two things together.
Oh,
so it's basically he did the thing where he did it himself, and they said it was scary enough when he did it.
This is exactly what happens to me when I lash out at people because I'm on drugs.
Yeah, and he's
coming off of them.
And he says in here too, "I'm sorry for everything," and it's just it's so good. But I think Billy Boyd said that he was just walking around the Weta workshop, and that puppet was just sitting in the corner with that big scary face, and he was just
That would be a terrifying wander through.
Yeah, this is great. Sean Bean was talking about this scene, and he's in it when they're walking away. And like he's not in any of those shots, but you see him when he's walking away, like there. He's like, I wasn't on that set. He's like, I was not present for this scene. I was not whatever. He's like, they just stood like there. He's standing there amongst the group now. He's like, I was not there. So I don't know where they got, I don't know where that was from.
Hell? He doesn't remember doing it.
So it was probably literally when he's waiting to do a take and he's just standing there looking around and they're like, we'll just take that and we'll just throw him in. Right? Because they need him there. Otherwise, everybody's going to be like, you know how people get.
I imagine sitting there in the theater or whatever for the premiere and you're like, I do not remember filming that scene.
That must be bananas.
Like, what the shit?
Well, and that's the thing. You see a lot of that when I was watching the making of Phantom Menace. They did a lot of that where, like, George Lucas is like, I like the way the guy on the left performs in this take, and I like the way the guy on the right performs in this take. Like, he moves at just the right time, and he does this at just the right time. So we're just going to go ahead and split screen those two things, and now we're doing both performances. And he's like, we'll just slide it and we'll just do it ourselves. And the editor's there. He's like, yeah, there's good old George directing from the editor's seat. Like, just he's like usually you're not able to affect somebody's performance after it's been shot, but he can.
He knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah. Give him credit,
when
he fucks it up.
All the bells and whistles are in this movie, man. Miniatures, everything.
And look at, like, this is why you shoot in New Zealand. It is Middle Earth. So this is the first trailer we talked about. Was the teaser trailer. This was what we saw. So, okay, Ian McKellen, we didn't really know. You don't recognize who Legolas is. You don't recognize Gimli. So you you barely see Sean Astin. You're like, oh my God, Sean Bean. You're like, what is this thing? But Todd had it figured out. I think you actually figured it out from the pony.
Did I?
No, maybe not. Because, you didn't read this book, so that wouldn't have been it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
That would have been maybe Cody, a friend of ours. Because he knew, like, he was the guy who I knew who really, like, dove into the book.
Yeah, he loved them.
Mm-hmm. I like that's good camping.
That looks good, man. I know, I'm hungry too, man.
I love good
just had a little piece of pizza for dinner. Mm-hmm. Oh, doing a little swording here.
Oh, I like this idea too, like, because right now it's not a perilous journey for them. It's just we've got to get from point A to point B.
It's not. The shit hasn't gotten real yet,
and we're gonna try our best to stay safe. And like for all they know, it could go off without a hitch. They could sneak in. They could get to the mountain, toss it in. Bob's your uncle.
Imagine that.
Well, and it's probably
it's the short, not the extended cut. It's the opposite version. They walk in, toss the ring in.
Yeah.
Hum a couple bars of a tune, done.
That would be those. They're all sitting there. They're all together. Nobody got killed. Boromir got Frodo on his shoulders, and they're just like dancing around. And then he just gives it like a coin flip toss into the thing.
Like nothing to, eh? Like no problems.
I like this. See, and I like that. This is how, like in medieval times and all that, you train to fight by playing, right? And it's like how tigers learn to hunt, and it's that great thing. Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. So
I like Sean Bean's character too. Sorry, but like he's conflicted. He's a really well-rounded out character.
He's not even like, well, in the animated thing and in the it's not even the desire for the ring per se. It's a desire to do right by his family.
By man.
He's like, we have to do this. But then he does have that moment where it kind of takes him a little bit. I was never sure at the beginning whether or not these were birds or bats, but they are birds.
Birds.
Yeah. But they flapped like bats. And like, I don't know. It's just they were so fast. And then you see the closer up and you're like, oh yeah, they're birds.
You know, because we're not going to do The Hobbit, hopefully. You know what
Probably
really
not.
is? No. Oh yeah, it is The Hobbit, where that fucking little bird, that little asshole bird flies all the way over and then gives a little woodpecker action onto the mountain for the dragon. I was like, you little prick.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, I know
that
exactly what
little
you're talking
bastard.
About. That bird was a cumberbitch and just wanted some Benedict attention.
Because I guess because I was expecting all the little cute birds to be nice.
Yeah.
But there's bad ones.
Oh, absolutely. So another interesting thing, this BBC did a radio play of The Lord of the Rings like ages and ages ago, and the voice of Frodo was Ian Holm. So he's played Frodo and he's played Bilbo.
Uh-oh. Here it is.
Yeah.
It's a nice ring, man.
When he drops the ring in the snow, not him, but when Frodo drops the ring in the snow and you have the shot of both of them, they actually, to have that forced perspective so they could both be in in focus at the same time. They had a ring that was 6 inches around, so I can almost fit my penis in it. But no, but like it's so it could be further back but look small, like to look small and stuff like that, and then they could all be in focus, and they didn't have to do some kind of rack focus or anything like that.
Oh, look at you can see some midgets all blurred out in the background.
Yeah, well, the one you can see the mask that he's clearly wearing. Like they did that actually when Arwen is riding with Frodo in the first half too.
Right.
They put a mechanical mask on because you could see his face more, and they needed his face moving around and his eyes moving and stuff. And she said that when she's on this fake horse, and then you're just hearing while there's all these things, and then underneath you hear the scale double going
I'm giggling
because he's like this old Indian man who's underneath there. And he's like
he's getting touched by Liv Tyler. He's giggling away.
Oh, I'd be all over it.
Well, this does not look like a very well ventilated place. Well, actually, it does. It looks fucking hot.
Yeah, I love the designs of the staffs too. Like, I wish that you knew more of the wizards. Like, you learn a little bit about them in the Silmarillion. There's because I can't even remember. Like, there's Radagast, the Brown, who's in The Hobbit with Saruman and.
Right.
Gandalf. Then there were 2 blue wizards.
Is this all foam or what?
It's like that polystyrene stuff, although there are a couple of shots that are in legitimate snow. But not here. It's like
styrofoam.
Actually, ironically, this is like styrofoam. They were basically choking on it every time they opened their mouth.
I know, that's what I was just going to say. Like, oh my God, you're going to breathe in styrofoam.
Yeah, they're all dead now. But
inside.
Except Ian McKellen. He's going on and
Christopher Lee, because he's actually Dracula and lives forever.
Yeah, except the part where he actually died in 2015.
Oh, that was a fake.
Yeah.
It was a fake out.
See, this is what he was built for, is doing that kind of thing. Like when you hear Lawrence Fishburne go, "Zion, hear me," that does not work. When you see him do something like that,
you're like,
it
doesn't work.
I
agree. You know, the thing too is that this movie is in 2 discs.
Yeah.
I have movies at home that are like 9 movies. I got all the Puppetmasters on like 1. Why have them onto 1 movie on 2 discs?
It was a couple of things. It's the audio. It's the way that they present the audio to you. The video's the 1080p. It's a more rich, like uncompressed kind of thing. So it's taking up more space.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Right?
The sound is taking space up.
And the movie also has 4 audio commentaries, which also has to take up data space on the disc, right? So
I like that it's on multiple discs.
Yeah. Well, I do and I don't, because I don't want to get up and switch.
Does the look of it change? Like if they put the whole thing onto 1 disc, would it look any different?
I think you'd lose more sound than you would lose video, unless you got rid of the audio commentaries, and you could probably get it. But there's so much shit that there's on these things, right? Like it's just
Isn't it crazy that sound takes up space.
Sound takes up a lot of space. Feel like the dynamics of the sound. Like we're hearing it just faintly in our ears right now. Which is where you hear everything, by the way. You hear everything through your ears. You do not absorb it through your skin.
No?
No.
Oh.
And
lessons from Joe.
No, we're just hearing it faintly. Like we don't have the big speakers going or anything like that. And like it's so dynamic, it's so deep and rich and blah blah blah. And when that goes away, you lose it. It becomes a little tinny. Like I have to do things when I'm editing even this podcast where I have to knock out some of the noise because you can hear like a fan in the background or any of that kind of stuff. And it instantly takes away the quality just by compressing it just a little or doing that kind of stuff.
That shit is crazy.
Right? So it's a lot of
like there's so much shit you got to think about when making a movie, man. Like holy fuck. Be the continuity person on this movie had a fucking heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God.
Oh, absolutely. Your script supervisor, because that's literally her job. She's got the script in front of her, and then she's also doing, or it's usually she's, but there's he who do it too. And there is usually, hey, remember you were holding a cup in this scene in your right hand, like that kind of stuff. You have to know all the details. Yeah. Like those are people, like they should be hiring like photographic memory, like
psychics,
like semi-autistic people who are just like marching out going, that's not right, get it right.
Put them back in their little cage, and then
you just like throw a sack over their head and just shove them underneath.
Oh, they're gonna go through the mountain.
Yeah.
Fuck going around.
Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do. And it's an interesting, and it's a very interesting thing too, where they're actually
He's like, yep, this is a mountain, all right.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Confirmed. All rock. But I like the idea there's all these ways to go, but none of them are good.
None of them are good.
And it's just like, okay, we're definitely going to die up here, but we're probably going to die if we go this way. And it's like, well, we might not die if we go this way. Like,
Right.
That's pretty much their best bet.
Don't go that way. That way, you're going to get snow. No, don't go that way. Don't go through the mountain. You know what? If I would have just told them to go that way, they would have went right to the mountain and thrown the ring in.
So, interesting thing I didn't know. I assumed that was CG, the way that door's lit up and stuff. It's actually a reflective paint, the same kind that they use for like street signs and stuff. So they like reflect so well when you're driving, like it reflects the
Right.
light. It's also very similar to, well, it reacts similar to how a cat's eyes react. So it's actually, that door is there as such. It's not CG.
This part is so awesome. Like, I love that Gandalf, he can't get it. He's like, shit, man.
He's an old, and it's cool because like these guys in these types of movies are always the perfect guy. They can get you out of everything. But then that leads the question, and I mean, there's a billion ways you ask these plot hole questions, like why don't the Eagles just fly them right to Mount Doom and just drop the thing in? But then you don't have a movie, so like fucking relax. But the
whole thing was going crazy too. They probably can't get in there. It's too hot. I'll burn their wings. I got lots of justifications. So hook me up.
Yeah, mine is fuck all y'all.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, but like that's the thing. And if he's so perfect, why can't he just get them out of every situation? It's like he can't. Like he's not perfect.
Well, it took him 17 years to get the information for whatever. He probably stopped at the fucking brothel.
And you know how I got that information? I fucking Googled it. I got it in seconds.
Googly
boogly.
Yeah, trying to get the. I like this with a piece of chalk. Make a door. Knock 3 times.
Oh God, yeah. That would be an amazing T-shirt if it was that door. And it's
fucking A. That's a 50-50 split right there, bro.
We're doing it. I like that they give a little bit of thing. Bill the Pony's a pretty big character. Well, as a pony can be. In the books, because he's on the whole journey.
Aragorn's horse?
No, he's just a pony that they buy when they're in Bree to carry all their shit, right? But then they're like, but they couldn't just physically have one. They could we can't fly a horse up the mountain and stuff. So there are a lot of shots of Bill the Pony where it's 2 stunt people like front and ass, like doing pantomime
like
in an old school suit.
Sweet,
and it never shows up, right?
Oh, I like this too. There's danger everywhere. You know, the more after I've started playing Breath of the Wild,
you have
honestly,
a Nintendo Switch?
Oh,
you've never brought it up.
Tell ya. Yeah, I got one of those.
Sorry.
I think you fucking should be. I think that this story was the inspiration for Zelda. Because the more I watch this movie, the more like Sting glows. When there's evil, the Master Sword glows. Yeah. You got this journey going to the mountain. Well, in the game is the castle, but there's all types of similarities in the tone and the colors and everything. And I think that back in the day that they loved Tolkien. I wonder if they mentioned that ever in one of these Zelda behind the scenes things. Yeah. But I see a lot of similarities now.
They should make a video game with commentary. Where when you do certain acts and stuff like that, you hear like the developers of the video game talk.
They should add that.
Like
it shouldn't really be in the game to take you out of the game.
It should be something that you can turn on.
Yeah. Go through and look at a little greatest. You know what I mean? Rather than, or it could even come with a CD. Like you get your game and it comes with another disc, which is the making of the game.
Yeah, well, that would be cool, but it would just be interesting if it was so interactive that when you perform a certain task, then an audio file plays that says, yeah, when we did, like when we designed this creature or whatever, we were blah, 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 blah.
You should have the option.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah, it forces you into it. You're like, Jesus.
Yeah. Like, we're an option.
Holy Jesus. No, we're not. We are fucking mandatory.
I think we just found the episode title for this one. So there's Legolas.
Sweet skills.
Everybody was so mad at him because he was so talented at everything. Like they went through so much training, and he was legitimately like when he did shoot arrows, he was hitting the targets right on, and he was doing this. I mean, a lot of the times he's shooting CG arrows.
Whoa, just because what is this thing? It looks like Cthulhu's little brother.
He's the Watcher.
This is the Watcher.
Yeah, and he's got like a little bit of a little bit of Cthulhu. He's got a little bit of Kraken going for him, and a little bit of those weird octopi from the original Legend of Zelda.
You're
They'll
right.
Come out of the water and then
Yep.
spit like. So like especially like its head, right? So I like this too because they've now decided this is definitely not the way to go, and now they're stuck.
And they are stuck. So what if he's the Watcher? Who this is used to be dwarf domain.
Yeah.
So what if the dwarves came by? Would he be cool with it?
They came from underground.
No, but this guy, he's watching the door. Like, can anybody go past this guy, or is that dude attacking everybody?
I couldn't tell you. He didn't say.
I think he's cool with Mormons.
He's probably totally fine with Mormons.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because those are usually the people you don't want knocking on your door.
Exactly. He's cool with it.
Well, we've got a minute. Tell the story of when they came to your door. Do you remember that when you were living? You said 2 Mormons came and knocked on the door. And you're like, come in.
I was like, come on in. Oh my God, did I ever regret that? Holy shit! And they kept coming back. That was when I lived in my aunt's house.
Yeah.
And they kept coming back. You know what? The line got me was, "Do you believe in the existence of angels?" And I was like, well, yes, I do. And then that was it. Mm-hmm. And here come the Watchtower pamphlets and the holy moly.
I would have been masturbating in the first 8 seconds.
That was nowhere near as creepy as when I went into the Church of Scientology in Toronto.
You were so goddamn brave. You were so
surprised I'm not there.
Yeah.
Still, or am I?
So Orlando Bloom. Hilarious thing. He was not hilarious.
Humorous.
The first thing I was going to say is very funny. He was hired for this 2 days before he graduated from drama school.
Really?
Peter Jackson saw him in a play from the drama school and was like, "You need to audition for this." He got the role before he graduated. He still graduated because it's not like they started shooting.
Your graduating class year. You haven't even graduated yet, and you just scored a huge movie.
And it's nice, when you graduate college. I had a job.
That was a nice shot.
I had a job a month before I graduated college, but it was. Well, I'm sorry.
I still don't have a job.
I know, but it's all right.
I just say that I'm a sailor.
You're still pretty.
Ooh, that's all that matters.
But to have not just a job, but Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's just,
especially after they see it, they're like, "Oh my God, that guy was like."
Yeah. But the scary thing, the year prior, he fell off a 3-story terrace.
Who
did?
He
broke Orlando Bloom, and he broke his back.
Whoa.
And he was paralyzed.
What?
And he was convinced he was never going to walk again, and then finally he gets better, and he gets better just in time to be in a play that Peter Jackson sees and sets.
What play was it?
I have no idea.
Where was the play?
I'm
going to
say Perry Mason. The play. No, it was London, I think.
Oh. He's like, "Where's the bathroom in here?"
Yeah, I smell something. This is. See, again, he's like, "I totally forget," and they're all just sitting around.
That leaf, man. He's forgetting.
Well, and I love that line that Saruman says earlier. "Your love of the halfling's leaf." He's like, "You smoke too much." Everybody's made a very specific point. You're smoking weed through a weird pipe.
Oh, there he is.
There's another shot of Gollum. Andy Serkis. We have so much to say about him, but not much in this movie because he's not really in it.
Right.
But I will say when the riders are all across from Arwen and you hear "hand over the halfling shelf," that's Andy Serkis' voice. The man is just a menace.
I cannot believe the career that man has made for himself.
Just out of he is in the Marvel universe. He's in the Star Wars universe.
Planet of the Apes.
He's in this. He's in Planet of the Apes. He is directing now. He's doing he is working his ass off.
Yes, he deserves it.
We have so much to say about him, but like I said, I want to save it, the most of it, for the next movie.
In my personal opinion, obviously with the help of technology, should be recognized at some point in his career as an innovator.
I think he will get some kind of Oscar.
He
down the road.
He should.
And not only that, he's now teaching people. He supervised motion capture on several of the movies that he's done recently. He did Star Wars. He supervised motion capture in Star Wars on what was it, on Avengers 2. He helped James Spader do motion capture and stuff like that. And it's just nobody does it better But yeah,
He's
this
the man.
Gollum, I really don't like that Gollum. I'm glad they changed. I'm glad they went to all the work to change it.
Me too.
That's the one thing. If they're gonna change something, if they were gonna re-release these, I would make the Gollum the right Gollum.
In this one.
Yes.
Right.
Like I think that's the only thing
I would
fix.
digitally change all the Golems to that one.
Oh my god, the one that you barely see.
Yep.
He looks like
Ruin the performance.
But just make it Voldemort.
Just to fuck you up.
Yeah.
His name, who we shall not say.
Yeah. But you could say. So an interesting thing. Now we got two different actors. First, I start with our good friend Sean Astin. He was always under the impression that his dad was Desi Arnaz Jr., Lucille Ball's son.
Okay.
Okay.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. He finds out way later that it was actually his mother's ex-husband. He was married to this guy for a month, and he got pregnant then. But then she was with Desi Arnaz Jr. like right after,
Right.
and thought that she got pregnant then. So then he finds out way later. So now divorces and all that go. And
Oh
then
yeah, she
he's
didn't know. Sure,
Yeah.
she did. That's just her
Well,
excuse.
Yeah, it was. I think you just kind of.
What is this, fucking
you
Maury?
you probably convince yourself at the time,
Right?
Because that's over. I don't want to get
Yeah.
into that drama, right? And yeah, and then he's adopted later on by John Astin, who played Gomez in the Addams Family.
Why was he
in
adopted?
The Frighteners, directed by Peter Jackson, because he was his stepfather and he just wanted to adopt him because he didn't have another father like in his life.
Right.
Like that.
Okay.
So, he did eventually like lay all that out. And apparently he refers to all three guys as his dad now.
Oh my god, my three dads.
Yeah, essentially. But here's another interesting thing about Sean Astin. He narrated the American version of Meerkat Manor. And the British version was narrated by Bill Nighy from like Underworld
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff, who voiced Sam in the BBC radio play alongside Ian Holm.
The hell.
So Sam and Sam both did
What
Meerkat
the
Manor.
fuck? That's a weird.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. So when you get to the party and everybody's dead because you're 100 years too late.
He shouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, like where was he at?
Like clearly, like he was just in. He was just in a pile of dead
Look at
bodies.
this little. What the heck is that thing?
Yeah.
See that guy?
He looked a little mummified. So this is actually really interesting too. So this is Balin. Anybody who watched The Hobbit knows Balin is one of the 12 dwarves that shows up in that.
Mm-hmm.
He actually it's an interesting little
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there it
And-
is.
Yeah. Well, both Balin and Gloin, and Gloin is Gimli's father. They're both in The Hobbit. And they make a little note to that because you see a picture of like a little baby hobbit.
Right.
Or not, I mean a baby dwarf. And then he just said, "That's my son Gimli." And then actually somebody was there. I can't remember. Like goes to like a shot of Orlando Bloom after that or
Look at
something.
the
Like that.
spine of that book. Like Jesus, who put that thing together?
Yeah, the people who do book binding.
Well, I mean, look at the size of everything
Yeah.
too, right? Everything. I guess somebody's got to be in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I can't remember who it was now, but somebody before he became an actor was a bookbinder, and they actually bound a copy of
The Necronomicon.
no,
Oh.
no, it was like a late release of Lord of the Rings, and then it was. Just
They
like
used to be a bookbinder.
I like that it like trails off like he was writing it as he was getting killed.
They're breaking in. Oh, his axe tips through the door.
It's like that,
I'm still writing.
Yeah, it's like that thing in
Oh,
Monty
this-
Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is hilarious. Where he's like, "And the master of or whatever the thing is." He's like, "What is it?"
This is like it just falls forever.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, I can't. You know what? When you watch the movie, when there's not two assholes, you know, fucking talking through it.
yeah,
That you can
Not
feel the cringe.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he knocks it off, and you're like, oh shit.
It's like you do that comic, like, ooh, just
Getting hot, gonna gum.
yeah. Something I didn't know about from a film standpoint is something called digital grading that I learned about through watching this. So it's basically they take the they used to have to do something similar by like the way they developed the film.
Right.
Is like they'd have to like soak it in a certain stuff or soak it for a certain amount of time or expose it for a certain amount of time, like all these different like options that they have. Now they can take that piece of film and they can just do little bits. They're like, I'm just going to bring up the light like around his face, and I'm just going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring the color in on his cheek, like the flames are going. So they can digitally do it without CG per se. Like it's kind of like photoshopping live video.
Right.
And to watch them, you can see it if you watch the appendices of these movies. You can see them do it during this scene.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I know. It still gets you. Most of the scenes you're gonna find in this scene, or like, well, in the Moria spot, in the first part of Moria, you'll notice that everything was shot on Aragorn's one side because he bruised the other side of his face surfing. So he had a giant bruise.
He's a bohemian, that guy. Yeah. What a fucking hippie.
They were all surfers, apparently. Like, apparently Orlando Bloom and Dominic Moynihan and Billy Boyd all went surfing, like, all the time. Really? Yeah. Well, because it was an awesome place to surf. You're off the coast of, like, you know, by the ocean there.
They got sharks in New Zealand coast? They got them in Australia, right?
Probably, yeah. And they're not that far. I don't know that you can swim from one to the other unless you're a super athlete.
Or a shark.
Or a shark.
Oh, it's glowing.
Sharks can go. I loved that too. It's not too overt. It's just enough so like so he'd know.
Yeah, well, no, they didn't show it like a one shot of the sword. You know,
this is the best because you get that little line. They have a cave troll, and then you like really don't understand what that means until you see it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh,
because don't they hear him or something? They hear him.
Yeah, no, that's the Balrog later. And I like that's their first like call to fight, you know. It's like,
you know what, I was just gonna say that too. I like a movie because it's taking its time. It didn't, you know what I mean? It's been a long, we haven't seen any action. This is the first time, and this is the second disc.
So there's that little, and then boom, like how scary is that?
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. We were more than halfway through the movie, and this is other than like the ring wraith fight.
This run. Oh, and that wasn't even a fight. A couple swings of a sword, you know.
Yeah. This is the first battle. Peter Jackson, he got the whole cast and crew together at the beginning of this, and he screened for them Braveheart and The Thin Red Line and said, this is the movie we're making. It's a fantasy movie, but it's history, and it's war, and it's like darkness, and it's people like, it's, you know, it's not the good stuff of just conquest. It's dead bodies everywhere and people scared.
Good cartoon.
Right? And The Thin Red Line I never cared for, but
no, my God, I can't stand that movie.
It was like, well, we had just watched Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And then we watched that.
It's a different movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put them in the same category. The only thing they have in common is that it takes place during a war.
Well, it's like Platoon and Apocalypse Now. One's an art film and the other's a film about what happened. Right? And that's like I always say I like Platoon better because it was written by a guy who was there.
Yep.
It was, you know, like Apocalypse Now, don't get me wrong, like a beautifully made movie by a madman.
Yes.
But like but again, it's like I find now that I'm past it, I do not like Francis Ford Coppola as much as I thought I did. I watched
you were saying that before.
Yeah.
You were saying, I was going to mention Bram Stoker's Dracula again during this one, but you know, because you said like at a filmmaker's point of view, it's just awful.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's weird. Like it's artsy and it's got merit, but it's just weird. Like it's not somebody on that level. You wouldn't picture him making that movie.
Do you think that they made this cave troll the same color as the brick so that it would stand up over time more, like rather than making them a bright color or like
You know what? That's a great question. I don't know if that room was lit. I would suggest they'd probably be different colors. He'd probably be more of like a bluish tinge.
Right.
But it's just like everything's coming up gray. But I like when you see his back, like he's got like the scales, like it's like.
Yeah, we saw it when Buddy was on him there.
Yeah. Oh, but I like, and they actually make, again, because he's just an animal that's been thrown into a fight, so they make him pitiful.
I was going to say that I was waiting until he's going to die, though, and I was like, I kind of feel bad for him.
You do, but like even in a couple spots, like where he just cut his hand there, and he went like, ow, like what's going on? I just want to play.
Doesn't know, man.
I was trying to understand what it was that he was holding because it looked like a sword or a spear. I
just can't believe how good that armor is, man.
Yeah, me too.
Like it just like bent or something. Even with how strong that guy is, it still didn't go through. You'd think that not even because it was sharp enough, just the force of him.
Yeah. Well, you know how strong that arm, like, well, that's how strong they say it is, like in the book and stuff. You know how strong it really was? The people who made all the chainmail for this movie literally wore off their fingerprints.
That's right. Wasn't it a bunch of old ladies or something?
It was a large group of people, but they were like, it was like to make one piece of chainmail is like 20,000 chains.
Yeah, I remember something
like chain
something
links.
in the movie that it was like one lady or two ladies sitting there. And then at some point they needed so many that people had joined in or something. We're like, I'll help you. You know what I mean?
Well, to
even
give
cast members like gaffers and stuff like, okay, I'll help you. You got no fucking hands.
To give you an idea how important. So here's the saddest moment here. Oh, is that and then the tongue hanging out bit? Like he's just you genuinely feel bad.
Looks like he was playing with a scar in his mouth too for a second.
If you ever see the scar above Sean Bean's eye, Harrison Ford gave it to him in Patriot Games. He like hit him over the head by accident. And then, so I don't think it really shows up in the movie, but if you ever see it, that's what it is. If you're just hanging out with him. So this is the second time that Frodo dies.
And as many, oh my God, there's so many.
Yeah, I think he dies once per disc. Like it's just like, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Ooh, they're like, thank the Lord.
I think that crystal that like lights up that Gandalf has, I think it's one of those ones that like hippies use as deodorant. It's probably how they can also
I should get one of those.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so that's what I was talking about before. He's wearing like an Under Armour type shirt underneath, and that's just sewn into that area.
Right.
Because they didn't want to make, like, you know how crazy somebody would go to have to make that thing by hand? And then he's like, yeah, he wrecked it. He wrecked it because he was putting it on like an asshole.
Oh shit, here they come. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is a very CG-ish, like,
yes, even
CG-ish.
back in the day when it came out, it was. But it's a fantasy movie; it's excusable.
You let all of it slide, and this is terrifying. All of them come in. But anyways, I was saying, how important this movie was to New Zealand. This movie while they filmed this movie, brought $200 million worth of cash influx to just them existing, because so many people worked there. Upwards of 3,000 people worked on this movie. New Zealand
made this movie.
New Zealand, and they'll tell you that. They'll be the first guys to tell you that New Zealand made this movie, and they
takes a nation.
Yeah, but it was so big that the government of New Zealand had to create a position of Minister of Lord of the Rings.
Minister of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because they had to somebody had to manage the money and manage how they were getting the money, and they were also deciding how to capitalize on it, like from a tourist standpoint, and like these helicopter tours and things like that, right? So it's like it basically
started a whole new industry.
It did. And I mean, like, everybody.
It's their main export now. Import is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, and Weta went from like a little company of like, a few dozen people to, I think the art department was 300 people on its own. The props department was probably another 100 people. The miniatures department was probably another 100 people. The digital department's probably another 100 people. Like, it is now a corporation.
Yeah.
And that is also sought after. Like, if you look up Weta Digital and Weta Workshop, so it's like the two wings. The Weta Digital is like the Lucas, like the Industrial Light and Magic type thing, and then Weta Workshop is all the props and like the prosthetics and that kind of stuff. You'll see them; they're all over the place now, and not just in movies that are in and around New Zealand.
Right,
they're all over the world. So, and you know how friggin' impossible it is to do that in a place that's not a hub for making movies?
Right.
That would be like saying, like, Iowa is the, like, key maker of all of like, I don't even know, like, all like, film cameras or something like that.
Like, one specific, like...
Yeah.
So, one of them is pretty good. One of them, I don't know if it's Virginia or... One of them down there has a big...
yeah. Well, Georgia's got a big thing going
on.
Yeah. Because they shoot a lot of stuff down there.
What about that? We got one here in Toronto. Somewhere in the outskirts of Toronto, there's a big new one.
Yeah. Toronto, yeah. Toronto is a huge film place. Vancouver's a huge film place. There's always stuff going around.
Imagine this. The Universal Studios, you're running from Balrog.
Yeah.
I think it could be like King Kong. You know, when you get past a certain point, boom, he comes out. Bro, the whole thing falls apart behind you.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That would be really good. I am not afraid of heights, but I would be terrified of this because there's no guardrails on the side.
Yeah,
like if there was a rail, I'd no problem.
They do like it's all a screen. So like even if you did fall off, like you'd be right there. So it just looks like it's way the hell down there. You just break
your neck.
Yeah.
See, and let's make it a little bit more dangerous. You're being chased by a fire beast, but let's also fire.
That right there is what gets me the most. People shooting arrows. I think I have dreams like this where I'm like dodging arrows.
Yeah.
That guy looked like Skeletor.
Yeah, a little bit. The I like too how they make all the different orcs look different. Like the ones that live underground have a weird different like kind of like they almost have less features and stuff like that. The ones that live like in what's it called? I love the nobody tosses a dwarf. That was and like dwarf tossing, it's not like it's even so in the canon of pop culture. But it was just enough that you knew what it was and you're like, I'm happy with that. And then the grab by the beard made me really happy.
Holy jeez.
You can hear too, Howard Shore hired a Maori tribesman choir to do the thing that like, but they utilize another way. They utilize New Zealand. Like there's the army scenes in Two Towers. We'll get to it more when they get there. But like they utilize the public and they utilize army, like the actual New Zealand army in places. And like.
That's awesome.
It's like every person. It was like if you were not busy, if you're not like a doctor saving lives.
Oh, even then.
Even then. Well, actually true. Because in the Buckleberry Ferry scene earlier, dude got
Please say that with a straight face.
I know. It's hard to say Buckleberry
Ferry. That sounds like a Kool-Aid flavor.
But it does. But it was Dominic Moynihan got like a splinter in his foot and he was in so much pain and they had to take him to the hospital and then they found out it was just this teeny tiny little splinter.
Didn't Samwise cut his foot open too? And that water in the...
Yeah, when he actually at the end of this. Yeah. He runs out and he sliced his foot open really bad and he had to go to the hospital.
The scene looked awful in the behind the scenes stuff. I was like, oh!
It's really bad. This is another bad blue screen shot.
Love the music. Howard Shore did such a great job, man. Like...
This beast though is so well designed. The fire like burned like every time he makes impact with himself, like it just it's so good. And look, you see that look, and he's afraid of him. Like he knows to be afraid of him, and it's such a good beast. And you never really get a good look at him. Like this is like he's in the dark.
I think when he flames up.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like because it's coming from inside. Like he's made of lava, and he's all lava rock on the outside. When he flares up, you just see it kind of like. Go.
This bridge. Who cut this place out, man? The dwarves?
The dwarves do this shit.
God.
Well, and that's like I really like the mines that you get to see in The Hobbit too. Like when you see how they were building like the big gold statue and all that stuff. There's so many good things in The Hobbit. I really just want to do like that Phantom edit where they cut it down to like a reasonable thing.
Right.
I feel like you could do that with that, and then really your only complaint is like how digital the movie looks. And I wouldn't mind that if that was my only complaint. Yeah. I like
this was such a shocker when I first saw this for the first time. I was like, oh my God. Like
he has a flaming Jesus sword.
Flaming JC.
You remember when we had we did the charity thing for the resource of we did a charity show.
What a waste of eggnog.
I know. I know. We did a charity show for the Resource Association for Teens in St. Catharines.
Raft.
And there you go, the Raft. And we did an improv show, and we're coming up with ideas for like what kinds of sketches we would do, and then of course you don't write them, you just have the concepts. And one of them was, because it was coming into the year 2000.
What a fucker.
I know, he's a sore loser. Whipping him at the last second. But one of the things, because it was the millennium coming up, was we were the Satan and his assistant getting ready for coming back for the millennium. And then when we get there, we realize the place where we're performing is a church.
Yeah, it's like, no.
And one of the lines are we kind of like, we were toying around with lines when we were coming up with the idea, was that we like said, there's this book, the Bible, and he's like, and he smote him with his flaming Jesus sword. And we did not get the kindest views. Like people in the crowd laughed, but you could see like the people in the back, and they were all like, you're being mean to Jesus.
They loved it though.
Yeah, there were like
I want to do more stuff like that. That made me feel good.
It did make me feel good. I like doing that stuff. Like I would do like these things. Like I have no interest. Well, I mean, I have interest, but I mean, I have no concern about making money off of like this thing or whatever. But if we could make money to then like give to a charity or something like that to do like a show, I would be all over that. I just want to break even on my.
I made a deal years ago that if I ever was a success in the entertainment business and I made a lot of money, I would give over 60% of it to charity.
Over 60, so like 61%.
61 exactly. 61%.
Because somebody who says over 60 doesn't mean 70.
60.
Look at the emotion here.
I know.
But this is the best one. That's my favorite shot because he doesn't know emotion.
Right.
He's just like, what's like I don't
he
even
feels
he doesn't know
something.
emotion, he doesn't know death, so he's like, what's happening? I don't understand. And
did it, mama?
it looked like he was
Did him
missing a
out.
tooth there.
You know what? But probably too, because the elves, they're feelers. He can probably feel the sorrow coming from them, but can't place it like Spock or something. So he's like, "Well, what the hell?"
Yeah. Come, Boromir.
Get him up, boys. Oh, that's the worst part of a journey, man. When you lose somebody, you got to keep going.
Yeah. And I imagine that that's what it was like. The people who did like the first journey across America to find California, a la Almost Heroes. But like it was like
The true story.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Louis C.K. had a joke about that. He's like, you'd start from the one end, and he's like, and people would be born and people would die. He's like, basically, you'd be a whole nother group of people by the time you got to the end.
Yeah. You'd be like a whole new race.
Yeah. Look how goddamn beautiful that place is.
I know, it's amazing.
But now, because you see snow on the ground, you know how cold that water is. Like, that must be, like, have you ever, like, when you step in cold slush and get a soaker or something like that? Like, that's what he just did.
Well, Jesus, that ain't nothing like The Revenant, or Leonardo DiCaprio to live in, like, a frozen stream for a month for realism. I'm like, oh my God, man, it's a movie.
Yeah. Did I tell you Fox gave me a copy of The Revenant for doing some work for them?
Really?
Yeah. I did I operated the live for the Westminster Dog Show that they produce, and then they sent me a nice little gift basket, and it had a Star Wars T-shirt in there from like the old school days.
Oh no, you must have fucking. Did they know that you were a big Star Wars fan or something?
I am too fat to fit in it. They should have known what a Star Wars fan's built like. And so, but then they gave me, it was X-Men Apocalypse and The Revenant.
That's terrible.
In there. Oh, and Deadpool.
Oh, nice.
But I already had Deadpool, so I gave it to one of the other guys at work who had helped me. So
here she is, the one where they let do the beginning.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett, who she will be Meryl Streep when she's Meryl Streep.
Oh
like,
yeah, totally.
Like she's already up there. Like
I think she has more fun. I think Meryl Streep's having fun now, but like I think Kate Blanchett doesn't take it as like I think that Meryl Streep took it really seriously up until a certain point.
Yeah,
and
she
now
was doing.
Yeah,
she was doing Silkwood and the Deer Hunter.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. And then she was like, fuck, I'm gonna do these things. But I think Kate Blanchett, like, cause she was in Indiana Jones and
The Gift with Sam Raimi,
like all these. She does. Oh man, that was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good
I
movie.
forgot that movie.
That was Haldir, who shows up later in the series as well, played by Craig Parker. He, going back to the Lucy Lawless thing, he played various characters in like several episodes of Xena, Warrior Princess. He was a voice in 2 different Power Rangers shows. He was in the show Spartacus before it was canceled, and he was in that one that I think just got canceled, Rain.
Yes.
So that's his pedigree. And again, when you look at these guys on IMDb, they look nothing like this because that's not their hair color. They obviously don't have pointy ears. They've got contacts in for the most part. Like the Wood Elves have different color eyes.
Yeah, these guys are Wood Elves?
Yes.
They're a branch off of the Legolas kind of elf.
Like Legolas is a Wood Elf, whereas Arwen and Elrond and all that are the Rivendell elves.
That's what I meant, right?
Yeah. So, Legolas is
Rivendell, and these guys are forest.
And Legolas, for anybody who knows The Hobbit or sees the end of this movie, is actually the prince of all that stuff. But it kind of is weird because this is a different type of wood elf again, like we talk about that, because Galadriel, who we're about to meet, is Elrond's mother. And so I'm there by Arwen's grandmother, and Liv Tyler's only like I think 4 or 5 years younger than Kate Blanchett.
Right.
So
well, they age,
but they
elves,
don't
right?
age,
They don't age proper.
Yeah.
Well.
They do it wrong. They
can't even die right.
I know. Gay.
Can't even get old and die miserable.
Yeah. But like it was really funny. Like when I was going through Kate Blanchett, like I'll get a little ahead of ourselves. Oh, see, I like this. You still get those good moments out of Sean Bean, despite the fact they're foreshadowing with like his like, oh, I care not about this type of thing, right? They're foreshadowing that something could go awry with him, but you still get these good moments. He's like, just so you know, I'm a good guy. Anything that goes on after this might be something else. Like, it might be like it's just I'm good though. But like, look
might
how
get a little crazy.
That might be
That's
another
new.
cake.
That's new. Well, not new, but
So I'm gonna make a point. I fucked up a couple weeks ago.
oh my fuck!
I know.
I wanted to tell you too, but I didn't think it was my place.
It's always your place to tell me when I fuck up. If not you, who?
I fucked up not telling you that you fucked up.
You did. But when we were talking about Logan, I talked about Stephen Merchant playing, and I said Celeborn. What I meant was Caliban, and Celeborn is in this movie.
You needed to correct that. I'm sure people were really pissed off.
Only me. You know what's funny? If you go on our SoundCloud, you'll actually see like comments on a lot of our episodes, and it's me correcting myself. It's before anybody else has a chance to go. You don't know anything.
Yeah, because you're one guy at home is like, what?
Well, because I answered what you asked me a question, and I answered it, and I answered it wrong. And then I'm like, I knew the question, I just didn't hear, I didn't hear it right. I was like, it came in my ears, and I'm like, I just misinterpreted what you said. And
your excuses are your own.
Yeah, right. And that's all they are. Excuses.
Look at him. He's like,
I like the wonder. They picked like the perfect woman because she's beautiful, but in a classical way.
Yes.
Like she's not as pretty as Arwen.
No,
but she is.
She's very pretty though.
She is somebody who you stare at, and she said she did this movie specifically for the ears.
Really?
She's like, I do not like these types of movies and that kind of thing. She's like, but I wanted to wear the ears. That being said, she came back and did The Hobbit. Only her and Gandalf are the only two who have been in all 6 of the Tolkien movies. So
we need to add 3 more. Hey,
Legolas was in 3.
Hey, wait a second.
Yeah.
This guy. Wait.
Yeah, I've got him right here.
Oh, wait, give me a second. He's in a comic book movie?
Yes, he is. He's in a couple.
Okay, I'm not going to get
Okay.
Okay, just say it.
Okay. His name's Martin Serkis. He was in Xena. He played Xena. Interesting thing, he's got a little bit of a Star Wars crossover. He played the voice of one of the Geonosians, Poggle the Lesser, in Star Wars Episode 2. He was in Triple X. He was in The Bourne Supremacy. He was in Kingdom of Heaven, Aeon Flux, Alice in Wonderland, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Noah.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. He was in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. He was in The Equalizer, and he's on the show Into the Badlands. It's on right now.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
I'm glad you said it, man. That would have killed me.
That's good. But Kate Blanchett, like her career, it pretty much started, like there was stuff before it, but I mean, it really like took off with Elizabeth. She was nominated for an Oscar for that, and for the second Elizabeth movie that she did. She's one of like 6 people to be nominated for playing like the same character in different movies.
Right.
So I like that.
Oh, she gave him a look there, eh?
Yeah, he's like, I know what you're up to, asshole. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so
Doesn't
sorry.
she send Frodo a secret message too? Because she's like a ventriloquist.
Yes. More of a telepath than a
Jeff Dunham.
It's not like she has
her.
a dummy sitting next to her going,
it's the
he's
same
gonna
thing.
steal the ring
You know,
from
when she does do that to his mind,
Yeah.
she has her hand in her pocket and she's mouthing it with her hand as if it's a puppet.
I would certainly hope so. But yeah, like the other things she's in too. She's in The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. The Gift we talked about. The Aviator we talked about. Babel, Hot Fuzz. I'm Not There, the Bob Dylan
She's
movie.
in Hot Fuzz?
Yeah.
Huh.
Small role, but she's in it. Just like a little thing. So is Peter Jackson, actually.
Ah.
He has like a small little like
fucking
thing.
There it is. Here's a secret message.
It's a Curious Case of Benjamin.
Touch you tonight when you sleep.
Yeah. But yeah, she's in How to Train Your Dragon. She's got Thor Ragnarok coming up.
She looks badass in Thor Ragnarok too.
Yeah, she's in the Oceans remake, the Oceans 8 that's coming out, the all-woman one.
What?
So it's Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett. I don't have the list
Nicole
here.
Kidman.
No, Nicole Kidman's not in it.
Oh.
What's her face in all the Tim Burton movies?
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter's in it. Anne Hathaway's in it. And then a lot of people.
Is it a remake or something?
Sort of, yeah. But and a lot of the people from the original, well, not the original, but the most recent, are gonna make some cameos in it
Like
and
Brad
stuff
Pitt.
like that. Yeah. Well, I know.
Is it Soderbergh who's
think-
making it?
I don't know who is making
The
it.
guy
to
that
be
did
honest with you.
Ghostbusters, the all-female
Yes.
cast?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, I'm going to make an all-female every movie. And he's like, I just don't like men. He's like, I really like my male-to-female ratio that I get when I make all-women movies.
Are they going... They should have, what's her name? Melissa McCarthy. Is she going to be in it? She would be the comic relief.
That would be amazing. She plays Sean Spicer. But you know what else she's in that's weird? They're doing another Jungle Book movie, but it's not the Disney... Like, Disney's not making a sequel. Somebody else is making Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. And it features...
What?
Yeah, and it features like it's like Christian Bale and she's in it, and it's a bunch of different people.
Oh, it's
And
like a real one.
Oh yeah, and Andy Serkis is directing it.
What?
I'm pretty sure. Well, he's
No
in it.
way.
Yeah, and he plays.
Never heard of this.
And he plays Baloo.
Can't be real if I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So I apologize.
So it's
for
going to
not
be
being
Andy
right.
Serkis's CGI green screen dream.
Yeah, green screen cream.
And who's and it's not Disney?
No,
How do they get the rights to that?
I have no idea. It's
Unless Disney's been paying for the rights off of whoever actually owns it.
who knows.
Maybe you got to go through the Rudyard Kipling. What the hell's his name?
Rudyard Kipling.
Rudy. Oh, here we go. Look, his father's a noble man. Well, we get a little emotional backstory about the Beaner.
Yeah. See, I love it. Like, this is a great speech. And again, you get a lot more of this in the extended cut of the next movie, too, where you really get it. And then that really helps you understand the relationship between Denethor and Faramir,
Yes.
which is super important. Actually, interesting, too. Orlando Bloom originally auditioned to play Faramir, not Legolas, but they liked him so much, and they're like, he looks very elvish and all that, so they're like, you're Legolas, buddy. Sorry to not give you the smaller part. We're gonna go ahead and make you one of the leads, if that's okay.
Shucks.
If that's okay with you, kid, who's been
That
in
happens all the
nothing.
time in these movies. Where they come in for something and they still keep them for someone else.
Yeah. Well, and that always happens, but usually it's for a lesser thing. It's like, we like you though, like Donald
Right.
Moynihan wants to be Frodo but gets to be Merry.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. It's usually you don't get upgraded. You're not right for this part. We're going to cast David Wenham, but we're going to go ahead and bump
Yeah,
you up to
let's
vice
screw it.
president of
You're here
sales.
now and he's not.
Yeah.
You're walking barefoot around.
I like there's something about that to me that just makes you feel safe.
Yes.
I was like, well, if you're not going to step on glass, you're probably in a pretty cool place.
Probably doesn't even matter if she steps on glass.
We-
She's been walking around barefoot for centuries.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Her feet could cut glass.
yeah, no doubt.
Look at the hair on her too. Is that her real hair? Got
It
the old
is.
crimping iron out
It
before she
is
went for her
certainly.
night walk.
Nobody gets to have their real hair in these movies. Like, that's just not a thing anymore. It's like, I think that there's like a wig union that actually runs Hollywood. And they're like,
Oh no.
And they're like, yeah, no, he's going to shave his head. I'm like, here's what's going to happen. We're going to put a bald cap on, then a wig, then a bald cap.
Exactly
That's how you
right.
shave his head.
It's called a union.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay, so what's the do you know when you got hairy palms? What about when you got hairy feet?
Oh, it's because you give everybody foot jobs.
Ah, yes.
It's like that's how hobbits mate.
the
is
monkey toe technique.
legs open, foot job, and then you hope it just lands in. I'm not saying it's not disgusting, but I am saying
Hey,
it is
it's life.
disgusting. Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little crazy. I didn't know in the beginning of this whether she was good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe that in the end she was gonna have been corrupted or something, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I've got that movie up now, the Jungle Book, the new one. So it is directed by Andy Serkis.
No shit.
Christian Bale, Benedict Cumberbatch, Kate Blanchett, Frida Pinto, Naomi Harris, Andy Serkis. Oh, there's another guy with the last name Reese. Good job.
Hey,
Lots of people.
Tom Hollander, I know that name.
Yeah, he's a guy.
No, he didn't.
No, I promise he's a guy. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, Cutler Beckett. Yeah, that's where I know him from.
Cutler Beckett. You know, when he walked down there, I don't think there was water in that thing, unless it was just being so still that I couldn't see. But it didn't look like when they came down that there was water in there. That's why it's magic. Ooh.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I was like, what looks are they all giving him for that? Is like that's when he farted in that first shot.
You know, they're looking at it because they know he's watching. This is the end.
This is actually, if you read the books, because the big complaint about this is that there's too many endings to this movie.
Yeah.
But there's actually another ending that they just didn't bother with. When they get back, the whole of Hobbiton and like the Shire is on fire and had been taken over by orcs under the leadership of somebody named Sharky, who gets revealed to be somebody else, which we'll talk about later down the road when those movies come. But not that it ever happens in the movie, so... But whatever, I just don't want to give anything else away just in case somebody doesn't know. Yeah, so all that happens, but then you're just like, we're not getting into that. Just let them be home.
Yeah, for real.
Like, they already had 7 endings. Like, Elijah Wood...
So what, is it another fight when they get home kind of thing?
Yeah, they have to lead the way to help, like, get rid of, like, kill all the orcs and stuff like that. But it's just them now and they'll help.
Oh, it's just the hobbits.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're battle hardened now, man. They probably just ran right in there, man.
Exactly. Well, and they give you that one little shot instead where it's just all of them in their armor and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's looking at them like, holy crap. Like, and that kind of like
buffed out.
And what's kind of funny is it tells the exact same story.
Right.
Like it's
like the same story, only just miniaturized. Literally.
Wait. Oh, well done.
Huh?
But yeah, it's bananas. But the great story Elijah Wood tells is he was at the Oscars for Lord of the Rings, like Return of the King, and he was talking to Jack Nicholson backstage, which sounds like the coolest thing right off the bat. And he was sitting there and he's like, yeah, I loved the movie, which again is an amazing thing to hear from, because it sounds like he would never like anything. Yes. And he's like, everything's stupid but me.
Right, exactly.
And so he's like, yeah, I really loved the movie. You guys were all great in it. And he's like, oh, thank you so much. And he's like, and I liked the ending. And he's like, well, which ending? He's like, oh, I left after the first one. he's like, too many endings. He's like, why did you guys have so many endings? He's like, because you got a lot of things to, like, it's how the book goes. You have a lot of things to tie up. Yeah. Like, it's what happens to all these people. Like, if it was just The Ring was done, it's like, okay, we're home. That's the end. It's like, what happened to Aragorn? What's gonna happen to like everybody pretty much?
They're awesome talking to Nicholson, eh? Yeah. Fucking right. Is he still alive?
Jack Nicholson, yeah. He wasn't in the first row of the Oscars this year, though, I noticed. So I don't know what that's all about.
Maybe the star is fading.
Yeah. I think that spot went to Meryl.
To the Streeper.
That front and center spot.
Why is that where he like always sits? They always put Nicholson at the...
They just basically, they follow the exact same rules of the Lakers games. It's like, okay, here's who sits. So it's usually him and Spike Lee. Yeah. even though that's New York. But how, like, those eyes are so beautiful.
That's what I was going to say. That's why they chose him, because he's got those big expressive eyes, right?
He looks like, and again, not to be the doting father, but those are my eyes and my son's eyes. Like
which one's yours? The left one, and your son's is the right?
Yeah, the one on the right looks lazy, so I think mine's the left one. But but like people legitimately thought that his eyes were like digitally enhanced in the movie and stuff. And like people would ask Sean Astin on the street. It was like one of the number one questions he was asked. He's like, "What did they do to his eyes, or are they contacts, or what?" It's like, no, it's just his eyes. Like that's just what his eyes.
Imagine that, eh?
Yeah,
that's like that story of. Oh, this guy doesn't care how the orcs first came into being. He wants to eat something while it's still alive.
Yeah. But this is basically like telling, like, this is his version of the birds and the bees story.
Yes.
Right?
You're right.
Because that would be like me just circling Abby. Do you know how you were born?
Me and your mother. I got her drunk and she passed out.
Yeah.
And then
the cable went out.
Look at this guy. Imagine wearing that.
Yeah, so then that's what I said.
Look at these pooping. He's got a little tail. What is that?
Yeah, so that's Lawrence Malcor. That was his hair. That's Lawrence Malcor, and he went. He like they said 11 hours in makeup to do that. So basically, and it probably about 45 minutes to take it off.
I'm getting crazy.
So like it was the bulk of your day. Like I like just the cockiness of like all this, right? But I feel bad.
I like that one. But you know what? I always think to myself, what would I like to go as? Cosplay that one, but with that helmet thing on.
It's so much. Like those guys would be so much work. I don't know. Like I
11 hours.
11
Ooh, would you do my 11-hour makeup job if I wanted to be that guy for Comic-Con?
I wouldn't do an 11-minute makeup job for you. Can you draw a scar on my face? How big is this scar? And how detailed do you want it? Ugh.
All it needs to be is the line with 4 lines going through it.
3 lines and you got a deal.
All right, deal. Fine.
Solid. But it's just
I like when they show the behind the scenes of all the armor that they made.
yeah,
Just like a shit. Look at that boat, man.
Yeah, it's everything they did. Like, and they all have like this tree-ish design in it.
Oh yeah, what's this thing again?
Well, they're talking. So this is when they're gifting all of the people. So they've given them all these nice robes that they just say they shield you, whatever, blah blah blah. So he doesn't get enough power. Like, so that was Celeborn, who's the husband of thing. I guess it's kind of like the way Queen Elizabeth was. She's the queen. It's like whoever the husband is, he's kind of
Fuck, who cares?
He's kind of whatever. Oh, I love this. They always say that's like that's their commercial. Lembas bread. One small bites enough to fill this.
We should have said Lembas bread. Brought to you by Lembas bread.
I didn't think about it.
Well, if I should know these movies like Star Wars, I dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah. Well, I do. I know these things so well, and I do remember it, but I just don't. I don't always think what movie, like, because I know they talk about it a lot. In
right.
Two Towers, right? So
I don't know exactly. You have this love for the Star Wars movies that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't because you know more about a certain movie. Does that mean you love it more?
No, not necessarily. I like. There's some people who just like the mystery.
Right.
We'll just let it be. Right.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where, like I said, I like hunted down that
nice
that
blade.
timeline and stuff like that. I like they give you a little danger in a place where you're all safe, everything's fine. You're gonna fucking die, bro. I'm just like,
I'm not gonna sugarcoat this one.
Yeah.
They're gonna rape you to death.
You are going to die to
I
death.
saw it.
Yeah. We can see the future, and your future is a gaping bloody asshole.
I draw the future and it comes true, and for some reason I drew that.
Yes.
I don't know why. Sorry, bud.
I've been drawing it for months.
Yeah. Oh, look at his little face. I remember when my mom gave me this whole thing.
He does have a very childlike look at this, like, oh my god, this is badass.
Oh, that's his mama.
No, that's not his mom. That's
she's hooking him up though,
that's
right?
Elrond's mom.
What does the leaf do? It's just the connector piece for the rope. It must do something.
Yes. And well, they say in the second one, they go, not idly do the leaves of the Lorien fall. But it doesn't really, like, does that just mean it's a really good clip? And you have to, and the only way it would fall off is if you would take it off.
Exactly.
But I like every single one of these things. And I mean, it makes sense. But every single one of these things does come to use, but not all in this movie. Like, they don't just blow their wad going, okay, we're going to get this, and this. Some of them are in the next movie. Some of them are in the movie after.
So why, he says there, don't you have any of the knife? She gave everybody a knife, but gave him a rope.
Yes. You see, because she knows what he needs.
She knows what they, right.
Yeah.
And he's not although he is a fighter, but
he's like, you're not going to need this. You're going to need
you're
this.
going to need this rope.
And
what does he use that rope for?
It's when they're climbing in the mountains in part 2.
Okay, gotcha.
So and he's like, it's one of my knots, and then he just gives it a little tug in the knot, like undoes.
That's right. Yep, I got it.
Yeah, which is a really funny scene, like right off the bat too, when it looks so dire, and then that little thing happens. You're like, because you need that. It's like, it's when you really think about the emotional journey you go through when you watch a movie. This might be my next blog post now that I'm thinking about it, but like you get that, and it's like you don't maybe like openly emote it when you're like in the movies and stuff like that, but you hear about people who are in theaters and something happens, everybody sees, and they start cheering and doing this thing. I was like, but you're doing that to nothing. Like when you do that when on a stage play or something like that, you're reacting to something that's going live, and it's like you're interacting with it. But for it to just come at you and for you to fire back at nothing.
Oh yeah, because they're not going to right. There's no back and forth happening. You're just yelling at like a wall essentially.
Yeah. But like, what in a movie can make you cry when it's just a movie?
It's like you walk around the corner at like the art house and the painting there, and you're like, man, look at the stroke,
you nailed it. Like, clean lines.
Like what the fuck?
So modern. Like I think he's the first dirty man who got like, because that became like a thing, right? Where it's like, oh, the dirty man is handsome and the dad bod is good. Like
the dad bod,
right between those two things.
Dad bod.
Do you know what it is? I think that women have finally just lowered their standards.
Oh my god, they had to.
It was just it was like, we're keeping ourselves at this level for you guys. Yeah. You guys are not even attempting, so we're just gonna go ahead and say your best efforts are handsome.
That's it.
And it was like, which is how hairy, stinky, kind of chubby, and I mean, I'm not glass houses, right? But kind of chubby Leo DiCaprio can still nail like a billion models a week.
Well, no, but it doesn't matter what he looks like. I saw pictures of him
Yeah.
flirting around with Rihanna, and he had a big old belly on him. And
Yeah.
he's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Doesn't
But-
matter what he's gonna look like.
Yeah.
He's gonna get girls.
Yeah, it's true. I wonder if I can still get into the Pussy Posse.
The Pussy Posse.
Do you know much about the Pussy
The
Posse?
fuck is that?
It was a
Is
group
that
of
a
guys.
kitty cat club?
It is a little bit, but he.
Yeah, like kitty cat calendars and
I'm sorry. No, it was him. We're talking a lot about a lot of actors who are not in this movie. I'm fine.
hey, it happens.
But yeah, we trail off.
There's
from
going to
time
be
time.
several more movies to
It's true.
actually talk about
It's
it.
true. We're gonna hold off on Tom Hanks till part 3. But the it was young Leo DiCaprio, like Basketball Diaries age. Lucas Haas from like Inception.
Yeah.
From
Okay, yep.
lots of other things like Solar Babies, which you got to see if you haven't
Oh
seen it.
my
It's the fucking
God.
best. And Kevin Connolly from Entourage.
Come on, yeah, they're all buds.
And
And
David Blaine.
and Spider-Man,
oh yeah, Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire.
And yeah, and they were the Pussy Posse, and they basically just did whatever they wanted and left a lot of
I
vaginas
just
in their
can't
wake.
see. Wait a minute, what? Vaginas?
Yeah.
Oh, you said it was a kitty club.
Well.
You're a fucking liar. I don't
Well, no,
wanna be in
it's
this
they
club.
got together, they discussed cats, and then fucked all the models.
Oh, okay. Well, right on. They
It's-
fucked
I
all
don't-
the cats.
I like this too. Like it's the weird sensing of each other. It's like the one guy who can sense it. It's a really cool job that Orlando Bloom gets to do in this, because he is the eyes and ears of the group. Like
Yes.
everybody has their job, right? Except really Gimli doesn't. His one job was I'm gonna get us a great meal and like great hospitality and a real quick passage over here. Oh, they're all dead. I guess I'm useless. Do you want to just leave me here? But yeah, it's
Getting hunted. Can you imagine acting after 11 hours in the makeup chair? Like, oh my God.
well, I
And why
think,
45 minutes? Maybe you can't just pull the fucking thing right off.
well, certain pieces they reuse.
you got to save it. And
Like,
yeah.
so it's like the good news is your like the suit part is probably like a slip on, but then you got to put on the gloves, and that's slow. And that's see again. I don't like the hands that they give him in this. Like,
Is this, they're talking about Gollum right now.
Yeah, well, he's there
Was he, why were they watching that?
because Gollum's on the log.
Oh.
Gollum's like he's holding on to the
Oh,
log.
and he's
You can see-
behind
you can
it.
see his hand.
Right. I was like, why am I looking? Was that added, that log showing scene there?
No, that was there, and that's
Huh.
They say they're like who's following us, and he's like and they all know
It's the same
Gollum.
guy.
They
Yeah.
all know, and they all know Gollum, and they're like, yeah, I thought we'd lose him when we were on the thing, but he's too good at this, because that was his thing, and they let you know about that in Return of the King. You're
He's
like, oh,
too good at
water's
this
there.
skulking around shit.
Yeah, they're essentially water hobbits. It's
Well, he
like
started
they're-
as a human, though. Oh, no,
Well,
no,
he was
they
a
were,
hobbit.
they were hobbit.
they
That's
were-
right.
He was like a hobbit, but it was like a different species.
Yeah, like a branch off
Yeah.
of the hobbit, right.
Keep in mind, like it was like hundreds of years before or something like that. I can't remember how old.
Guys
they
are
said
just
he lived.
living, eh?
Yeah. Nice. I like this energy that they have between these guys. But you know what? I like so much more what they did in these movies than in the books. Because in the books, Aragorn is ready to be king. He's like, I'm ready to take my place. Elendil! And he like just goes into battle and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm going to do this and blah, blah, blah. This is way more interesting. I don't know that I want this job, but it is my duty
Right.
to make sure that these people are safe. I'm going to see this work done, and then we'll see what happens after that. He's like, but being the king is not in my purview right now.
He's getting pretty shifty now, Sean Bean.
He is.
I find watching this and then watching The Hobbit,
Mm-hmm.
did they on purpose make the Hobbit trilogy lighter? Like in tone, because these movies have a lot of gravatas and weight in these meaty scenes of dialogue, and there's a real sense of urgency and danger. But the other ones, I didn't really feel that.
I will answer that question. I just need to make this point really quick. You can see in these statues, when you get close up to them and stuff, what parts have been carved out of the rock and what parts have been added. So you can see like the arms are made out of like bricks that are carved, whereas the rest is all smooth. So like you don't see it there so much. You'd see it in the earlier shots. So like this is stuff that was carved out of the rock that existed. But when you saw like that first shot, actually you might get a good shot
It'd
of it
probably be right here.
where you see the hand sticking out. You'll see the lines where the bricks make
You
it up.
can, yeah, you can see the.
So you like, and that's just one of those details that's just fantastic. Now, to speak to your point of the making it lighter, I think they did make it lighter. They had so many characters, they needed to give them all something to do, and they can't all be dark, broody assholes.
Right.
And B,
It didn't even seem like they were in danger half the time.
the stakes are ridiculously low when you really think about it. All they're going to do is go back and get their gold. I mean,
Yes.
they have a piece of danger in their way of
Yes.
this dragon, but that's all that's happening. It's on the other side. It was considerably darker when you follow. Like if you made a movie that was just Gandalf's journey,
Right.
that's a scary movie with the necromancer and the
Yes.
sounds.
The
and
necromancer. That's
Yeah.
what they.
and
Too much like say. It was just Saruman, wasn't it?
Benedict Cumberbatch. It ended up with Sauron.
Sauron.
It ended up being Sauron, but you didn't know it was him. He was like the low-powered version.
Look into my eyes, child. Remember Sauron in X-Men? He was the green. He was in the Savage Land. He was hypnotized. Look into my eyes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know.
Sauron. I think that was his name.
I don't know. Oh, like the dinosaur guy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
from the Savage Land.
Yes.
There you go. We haven't heard from him in a while.
No. Who?
The dwarf.
Oh, John Rhys Davies.
Mhm.
He's still in tons of things, but he's not doing. He doesn't do like high budget things. He just goes on to the next job. And
I meant in this. Like he hasn't said anything in a while in the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But whatever, same thing.
I'm sorry. Another guy though.
He was in what was the one with Jerry O'Connell and
Sliders.
Sliders.
He was in that. Apparently hated that movie or
Show.
that show. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I hated it.
He didn't like. He said basically every single episode was a ripoff of some movie, and he's like, I just was over it. And he's like, once my contract was up, I walked away.
Fucking right, eh?
So he's like, it went for like 75 episodes. He left after 40. And actually, what was funny is Sliders. Jerry O'Connell wasn't in all the episodes, and he's the star of the show. So I think he left at some point. They replaced him, and then they're like, oh fuck it, let's not even. bother.
Just forget it.
Yeah. But John Rhys Davies, another guy who is just a friggin' wealth of cast, like the things he's in. So obviously Salah in Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. Bad dates, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
There was a good scene. There was a good story Sean Astin tells when he does that, and he went up to him. He's like, "Bad dates, very dangerous." And then he's like, that could border on parody. Like he just like says that thing to him, and he's like, "Oh," and like he realized he crossed like some kind of line where he's like, "Oh, maybe I'm doing that too much to him. I'm gonna just back the fuck off now because he's still gigantic and intimidating."
Yes.
So, something I didn't know, he was in the TV movie The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. Like that was the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk. He played Wilson Fisk. He played
the Kingpin.
He played Kingpin. I don't know if he referred to himself in Kingpin.
God damn, I
because it doesn't say Wilson
man.
Fisk / Kingpin.
I gotta finish that. God, I love Daredevil.
Yeah. And then he was the voice of Thor in a bunch of Marvel cartoons in the mid '90s. Like there was like a Fantastic Four one and stuff like that.
This is me right here. This is me. Like I start off like okay.
Yeah.
And then the more I talk, the more I work myself into a frenzy.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I've smacked my mom and dinner's fucking everywhere.
Yeah. Just fucking should have made the right dinner.
I know, you know?
But no, I understand what it's like. But yeah, John Rhys Davies, he originally auditioned to be Denethor. And then he ended up Denethor, the father, Boromir's father.
Oh, yeah.
So again, another guy who got upgraded. Sorry, you can't be Denethor. Instead, you're going to be Gimli and Treebeard.
Man.
Both of which are way bigger characters.
Oh, Jesus. Give it to me.
Just so
Just
good.
give it to him.
He's still there though. That's what really threw me off. Like why? Like he was holding him, and then he put the ring on.
It's
I was
not
like, you're
you
still
can't feel
holding
him anymore.
Yeah, you didn't. He didn't become like what would be the word be for that? 'Cause I was gonna say transparent, but that doesn't change anything. I was like
translucent.
No, still not the same. I don't
Same
know,
thing.
It doesn't matter. I would just meant like that your hand could go.
Yes.
Through. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Invisible. No, because then you can still feel. Yes.
I didn't like this. So he just tripped, and that's what reset him. Like I figured he'd be like knocked out or something, and then when he came to, but literally he just falls down and he lifts his head and he's like, I have leaves in my hair. Oh, what have I done?
I always regret things when I get leaves in my hair.
Well, so do I. Usually it's more sand in my crack, but that's
You know what? It just took a little bit of him to turn to be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's how close to the edge he was. Like he was able to.
Poor Sean Bean.
Yeah.
He does right in the end.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He starts the House Stark.
He's got
he's the Warden of the North.
That's right. You got to stop fucking around in this little land here. Look at how fast you just jazzed over there.
Yeah, do not do that. Like
Doesn't
you would
he
think it would be
understand
so
by now?
after you got stabbed.
Yeah.
I was like you're now making deep contact.
Ooh.
It's like you've heard about the eye, and you know that that's not a good thing to be seen by. It's like he's like, I gotta not be seen again. So it's ironic that he makes himself invisible to the people to do that, but he makes himself invisible to the eye by taking it off.
Or visible.
So he's just constantly here he comes. Oh no! Oh, here he comes.
He should just be on a steady schedule.
Yeah.
Every minute off, next minute on.
Yeah. He's just got it like it's just like in a little mount on his like pant leg, so he just slides his hand in and then just like. I like
now
to,
he doesn't trust no one.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of things, and like this is all apparently always how this was in the book, where he never was interested in the ring.
Ooh,
and that's the thing.
Vigo,
and that's the case for almost every character, though. Like Faramir in the books has no want for the ring, but they give him in the Two Towers. They give him a want, kind of in the same ilk that Sean Bean has it.
Right.
He's like, I can bring this back and prove myself to my father, which I've never been able to do. Like that kind of thing. So it makes so much more sense. And every change they made like that in this movie was for the greater good of storytelling.
Well, apparently too, in the book, like a lot of events are running simultaneously. Like the big battle at the end of the Two Towers is also another one of the big battles. And if you
the
were
one at Isengard,
maybe so like, in terms of making a movie, you can't have that happening at the same time because like you're blowing your wad. You know what I mean? You got to
they actually did.
Out. You have to.
They did put those together, but it was it's like the way they go, and then there's people who were there in the book who aren't there, so they could be off doing something else.
Oh shit!
And this is my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's like a zombie movie.
Well, he does this move here. This is what I'm going to do when I know it's certain that I'm going to die. Just bless my sword. Just a little something. In this scene, I actually have a lot on his work on this scene because he did all his own stunts for this. Keeping in mind, no sword training, no stunt training. They just told him what he needed to do, and he went out and did it like a fucking boss.
We need you to kill all these guys. Deal.
Yeah. And then he busted his tooth right out. And they're like, oh, we got to get you to the dentist and stop filming. He's like, how about you just get some super glue my tooth back together. I'll do the dentist tomorrow. And that's who he is.
What a man.
Again, I'm just like, I'm going to insist that you take my wife. I don't care if you keep like, if you just toss her to the side when you're done with her, that's your prerogative because you're so manly. Like, it's just, I like that move too. They gave him the opportunity, like he worked with the stunt guys to like come up with cool moves. He's like, because how cool is it to just fire arrows over and over again? He's like, well, what if I use one as a weapon? And that's why they gave him more stuff.
Oh, he just grabbed that guy's nuts.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? I like to, like, everything that the orcs have is so simplistic so they could mass produce it. And I think that's another little, like, nudge at industry.
Right.
Going, oh, you've gotten rid of, like, look at the elvish things. Such quality, so rare. Or you could get 4 billion of this weird stick.
Yeah, this big giant thing with the point going the other way.
Mm-hmm. So, like, you could see Tolkien had real...
Well, there are issues because that's like industry versus, nature or craftsmanship, which is true because all these things are gone now. Nobody is like you said, like the guy was a book binder.
Yeah.
There's nobody binding books anymore. It's a fucking robot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these skills with your hands are going away.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like these big orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Run for it, baby.
Yeah. Get moving. So an interesting little thing, 5 of the people in this movie are knights.
Actual knights?
Actual knights, knighted by royalty.
Really?
Yeah. Ian McKellen, Ian Holm, Christopher Lee were all knighted prior to this.
Okay.
Peter Jackson was knighted by the Queen after this. And Viggo Mortensen was knighted by the Queen of Denmark.
Nice.
After this. So he's the only one that wasn't knighted by the Queen of England.
I think that's neat that it was the Queen of Denmark.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, because he's Danish.
In the movie.
Oh, yeah.
His character's Danish.
Yes, yeah. He's everybody else is from Middle Earth. He's in from Denmark on an exchange. So you can only get to Middle Earth from Scandinavia. Like, you can't fly there from Canada.
You see that one guy there when he was shooting, he was already falling?
Yes.
I think that orc dude, Urukai, was thinking to himself, maybe if I just fall, he'll think that he hit me, but then he hits him anyways.
Probably.
There's the tune right there. Dun, dun, dun.
And that's like, there are so many strong themes, and that's the thing. Like, you never understand that when you're a kid and you're watching the movies, but then when you hear these themes and how they like bleed in, and like Star Wars does it, I think, like better than anybody. Where like you see Luke and you hear that.
They each kind of have their own little riff,
and they did it again. Like Rey has her own theme in the new one, and like, but you just have those moments. But then when you get to call back to it and you get to have that little moment and you hear that again, that instantly sense memory gets you back to where like what made you love it the first time, you know?
Look at them, the three of them taking one guy down. I don't remember that. He stabbed him right in the face.
I like it a lot, and this is where you get to see him at his most badass too, right? He's like, I think Sean Bean kills more guys here than get killed in the friggin' like battle at Helm's Deep and Two Towers. He's like just killing them by the thousands.
Good man. See, this is what you got to do.
And this is my favorite death scene.
It is?
This is my favorite death scene. It's so badass. Like, because he gets to die in that. And it's a cheesy way to die that, like, I have more things to say before I die rather than
hey, I died in that play like this. I got shot. Oh, it wasn't an arrow, though.
Yes. It was not an arrow. It was a bullet. It was the war show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it called the war show? Yeah. Look at the gear on this guy. Holy fuck.
That was the play where I was undeservedly top billed. I was not the lead. I was not. It was like the way it went. I was at the top of the billing, but it was an ensemble. There were no leads in the thing. It's just somebody had to be first. And I was like, oh,
I like that.
It made me feel good, but it was so inaccurate. I was like,
oh, but look at that. Look at the size of that arrow.
Yeah. I think I had the most lines. I think that's what
that makes you the lead then.
No, but I didn't do the most important stuff. I just talked a lot. I could do that all the time. That's why that's why this podcast
exactly
exists.
Right.
That's like saying
he's still going.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just I got a bunch of holes in me and I'm gonna kill more of you because I'm better than your bow and arrow. I'm surprised they're not poisoned or something. Like his eyes, like he should be going.
Oh, jeez.
Like it's so good. It's gross to have.
Yeah, buddy's standing like right there too.
Yeah, it would be great if one was still reaching up and grabbing him, and he just starts like punching him. But I like the horror on their face and the idea that like this fires them up, but it does nothing. They're just like, yeah, you're teeny tiny.
We're almost done.
And this did because I did not. Like I said, I only started really reading this stuff in high school and that.
He's not even dead yet.
Yeah, and I never got through it. Like while we were in high school, I read it later. It was after the movies came out when I read it and all that stuff. But so I was in the same situation. They take them, they kill him. I'm like, what is going on? Like it put you in a really good place.
What a way to end a movie too, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's dead. Yeah. They're friggin' running for it. They got kidnapped.
Yeah, and no giant buddy. Like 2-year wait. It's like this one, next one's coming out next year.
Beautiful. Doesn't even stab him or anything. Shoots him with an arrow in the face.
And then you get the big hero moment and the jumps in the music. I get goosebumps literally every time. But this is one of the coolest fights too. This is a brutal fight. These guys bruised the shit out of each other because they went full tilt on each other, and so. This was a great scene. They kind of like improvise that where he does the.
I like that. You'll get wrestlers, the good ones,
yes,
where there's no wasted movements.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like it's like in your mind, if I'm on the ground and I have a knife, I'm going to take this knife out and stab you with it if I have the opportunity.
So interesting thing there, that was not CG'd. That was an actual dagger that he threw at him, and then he hit the dagger with the sword.
For real?
That was just all good timing. And this is the coolest, like. Just the big fuck you, I don't feel pain. What's the matter with you? Boom.
How'd you feel that, bud?
Yeah. And this was how, that's how you get the old Peter Jackson back, right? You get they give you a little bit of gore. Just, hey, just so you know, I don't forget where I come from.
Can't forget where you came from. You can't forget your bloody puppet roots.
He looks different there. Like when you see those shots, he doesn't look as Sean Bean. It looks like he looks like it's somebody else who just kind of looks like Sean Bean.
It does look like a Sean Bean mask, like a really good Sean Bean mask.
Yeah. It's just because I don't know if it's because I think it's just because they did makeup to make him pale. Yes, he's bleeding out.
Yes,
right?
He's totally pale as fuck. His lips are all blue.
Yeah, goddamn.
Good death scene.
Pale face.
You've kept your honor.
Yeah. So you still take the arrows out.
I would have asked him to add a couple more.
Mm-hmm. And this is good too, because again, more of this thing, he's having all this conflict, and now he's seeing this moment where the one guy who believed that men could solve this is now going, no, it can't happen. He's like, for you, man, I'm going to do this, bro.
I will not let the white city fall.
That's right. But the black city, they're coming after.
It's gone.
Well, well, I'm sure there's a little bit of that because there is the white city versus the black city, and then like this, it's
pretty much like the black city being the Mordor,
yeah,
like the
Mordor is all darkness. It's got the black.
Well, forever it's been light versus dark. You can't take it to the race.
You can,
but
it's the peach color, the peach city versus the Marini colored, like whatever. I don't even know what Marini means. I just heard
are real.
I'm hoping that
fuckers.
that's not actually a racist thing that I'm saying.
Oh my god, we probably just did.
Oh my god, because they
call the people Maranis.
I've only heard it on 2 occasions. One of them was in I was gonna say I'm gonna get you sucked, but that's not it. Fear of a Black Hat, when he's like, oh, you're a red Marini color, and I just assumed that was like a shade kind of thing, but now I'm really hoping that I just didn't say like that was like the one just under the N word.
Exactly. You know what's funny is that, okay, don't everybody. No, seriously, if you're offended, write in. Somebody write in for something.
Yeah, we want attention.
I remember
there
was 2 guys that I used to work at Virgin Mobile, and there was 2 black guys.
Yeah.
Well, there was lots of people, but 2 guys in general that he would talk to and hang out with all the time. And they came out. They were big. One guy was big, ripped guy. The other guy was just a big guy. They were huge, and they're like, Todd, come over here. They're like, come over here. And I come over, and they're like, hey, they point to this guy over the other side. They're like, Todd. They're like, do you think that guy's a moolie? And I was like, a moolie? Sure, yeah. I'm like, he's like the biggest moolie I've ever seen. That guy. They're like, why don't you go over and tell that guy he's a moolie? And I was like, you know what, maybe I will. And I went to walk over, and they were like, whoa. And he grabs me by the arm, and he's like, don't go over there and call him a moolie. I was like, why not? And he's like, that's like a race. And I was like, well, why would you guys just set me up? Yeah, and they're like, yes. And they were like, we never thought in a million years you'd do it, so don't. They were like, don't go over there. I didn't know.
Now we're gonna lay down the rules here.
Yeah, I didn't know what a moolie was. Like,
no. I think the only time I've ever heard it used was in Oz.
I think I can hear an Italian guy saying it.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the mobster guys.
Fucking moolies. They say something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think we should just stop saying it right now. I think we should maybe just put.
Is it the worst? Is that as bad?
No, it's not good. I think it's the equivalent of when you really put, like, as Louis C.K. put some stank on the word Jew. Like, it's that kind of like bad. It's like, just don't do it. Just don't. You know better. Yeah, it's but yeah, it's like that's short for like a longer version, which I believe is an Italian word, which probably means,
yes, it sounds like it.
Which probably means Marini.
We're just talking, people. We're just talking.
Yeah. We're exposing
lemon meringue.
We're exposing race.
Come on now.
I don't see color due to an accident where I was kicked in the face by a donkey.
I'm just a human being.
Yeah. Well, that was like Stephen Colbert used to always say that on the Colbert Report. He's like, I don't see race. I assume that I'm white because I always get cabs. like stuff like that. But it would always be something super like racist. So
yeah, this cuts his foot.
It was right there. Like they cut
when
it
he was
short.
splashing in.
Yeah, he's like some big rock or a piece of glass or something was underneath it. It's sliced.
Behind, baby.
And what makes it worse is he has a foot glued on his foot by Sean Foote, who then like goes through. Just anybody who doesn't remember from last week's episode, the guy who put on Sean Astin's feet, his name was Sean Foote. So we have that to go.
We need that guy to call in.
You know what? This was probably legitimately hard to swim because like that's a lot of like heavy cloth that's now wet. So like imagine trying to go like that would actually be really hard to move.
Your feet probably fell right in with water too.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty sealed.
There you go. This looks like a Sin City drowning.
It is. Well, this is what's called dry for wet. So what they've done is they've just he's not underwater. He's just
he's like a fan or something.
Yeah, and it's a fan blowing, and then they play slow motion, so it has the.
I like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What did they do that for?
What?
Why?
Why? Well, it's just because it's easier than here. You stay underwater all day.
Yeah.
While we shoot this thing, right?
And almost drown.
Yeah. He's like, stay under there till it really looks like.
Oh, he's got some stuff in his foot there. That looks nice.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good friend right there, baby.
Sean Astin said over the course of the whole time that they were there was about 50 days where they had to go get their feet put on, and they were never featured. Like it was all close-ups and shit like that, and they're like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I have to
get into character.
I gotta get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like there's no makeup for them. They changed it. Like they Yeah, it's the only thing. I think they do put something on their ears. I don't know for sure because his ears looks a little stretched back, but not like pointy. And then but the only real thing they have to do is costume and feet. So if like they didn't have to do feet, they could get up an hour later.
Right.
And so like every day that didn't happen on a time when you're working 16 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah, I remember seeing scenes of them like falling asleep in the chair.
Yeah. Well, I was making this argument because somebody was saying to me, they're like, well, that's what you get paid for. And it's like they have tons of time between things. And I'm like, that doesn't matter, though. That is a long time of that constantly happening.
And for it not to even be in the movie, it seems like kind of a waste of money or something.
Yeah, well, I think they assumed they were going to get some long shots, and then they were like, oh, we don't need them because we got this.
Right.
Or whatever, and it's... So
he's like, what the fuck? Well, why are you waiting?
Yeah, come on. And then this is when you find out he's terrified of water.
Can't swim.
But it's just a big plot hole. It's like, you've been in the water like a bunch of times already. He's like, this time I'm afraid of it. He's like, I became afraid of it from the last time. Apparently they had some fun stories when they were all learning. Because another thing they all had to train together was to learn how to canoe. And again, Viggo's not there because he was hired after the fact. And they're all canoeing. And it was John Rhys Davies and Orlando Bloom in a boat together. Because that's how it was going to be in the movie, and it's how it was. And they're rowing, and I guess they were dicking around, and then they sunk the boat.
Nice.
And he's like, and it really helped. They said it really helped their like disdain towards each other, like as characters. It's like they didn't dislike each other, like as people, but it was just that moment they had this contentious thing, like, you sunk the boat. No, you sunk the boat. Like, just...
I like this. You know what? He's like, you know what? We can still help.
Yeah.
He's like, they left. You know, we can still do something.
Yeah, we have been declared this thing, which is this fellowship. These guys, we've gotten these guys as far as we can take them, but we should be true to our fellowship. We just dumped one guy Royal Rumble style over the
over the top rope.
Over the waterfall. This is a more extreme version. So, this is basically where you leave off, and like when the Beautiful. 2 towers go. But it's like these.
What an ending, eh?
Those in the mountains of Emmenweir. I remember so much.
Beautiful. Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Going out on their own. Here's where they split up.
But and that's the thing too, is this idea of like, because the journey's so long. Like they've probably been going for about a month at this point. I think they say in the books it's like 2 years is the entire
whole
journey
thing
from when they set off from Rivendell to the end is 2 years. I'm pretty sure that I'm right, but it's been a long time since I've seen the book. So
is that on New Zealand still?
I'm sure a lot of that is CG.
It looks like it's been added or something, or moved or something.
Yeah, something.
And they walk down the craggy mountain.
But Mount Doom in the far, that was there.
That's the Lord of the Rings. That's the Lord of the Rings shot right there.
That's the volcano that Lord Xenu dropped all of the human pods. I don't know the stuff.
Oh my God! I'll tell you every fucking thing you want to know about Lord Xenu, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Holy shit! That's when you reach your ultimate thetan level.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to say at the end of this film that no hobbits, dwarves, elves, balrogs, wizards, halflings,
tons of lesbians.
Some lesbians were injured during the making of this film. And I hope that none of the races of this movie or the races of our planet are offended by any of the awful things that come out of our mouths, because we're just fooling.
Yeah,
we're just,
If we can be serious for a second, we're good.
I think we all know why that disclaimer just happened. Okay, let's not bring it up again.
Yeah. It's bad. I don't think like it's so bad, and it's such a hard thing to say. Like it's very much white people problems when you're sitting there.
Yeah, we got problems too.
It's like other people are like, we have to go through all this racism. I'm like, oh yeah, well I have to be not racist, which is easy.
And I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, well, because I'm not. Well, it's like I'm not racist, but when I see somebody of a different color, I have to just go, don't be racist, don't be racist. Like don't accidentally say something that has like you do have this weird guilt. Like my daughter yelled out the word monkey when when a black person was nearby.
Oh my Lord.
And not at them. She was holding a stuffed monkey. And
I
could not and I could not and I could not contain, like I was like, oh God, no, he's gonna think that I don't like him, and I don't want him to have that in his system. I don't want that.
Yep.
And that is literally how you go. And it's that thing of don't say the one thing you're not supposed to. It's like, you know, your mom dies in a car crash and then you start talking about like weird car crashes. It's like, I've never talked about a car crash in my life.
Yeah,
hey,
but
look
that-
did you see who composed and performed the song that's currently being sung?
Oh, was it?
Enya.
They should come out with like Lord of the Rings, you know, with those merry-go-rounds that are in your room, and songs come out to help you sleep. They should have one of those.
Yes.
And it
They're not
shoots,
merry-go-rounds.
and it shoots the face of Enya.
Yes. Oh my God, I hope not that. I would rather Sade.
Ooh, is she in Enya?
Smooth operator. I think coast to coast.
But no, but that is usually the when you say the worst thing about moly, you know what I mean? Like you,
Yeah.
the worst time.
And your brain just goes there, and you don't want it to be there.
Well,
and
no,
then you
it's
feel
like
so bad.
well, no, because we're in this day and age too now. You know, with the Islamophobia and all these things that like you got to watch out, right? So you thinking you're paranoid. You're like, oh my God, she just said monkey, and now I'm like, oh my God, and probably made it even worse. By being like, oh shit, you know.
Actually, what's funny too is Patton Oswalt. He has almost the exact same story about where he's like, because there was a guy. Or it was something about she just watched The Lion King, and then she like pointed at some like man, and just to like some black man who looked kind of, because he had the gray beard and whatever, and he just started going monkey, monkey, and it's like no, and you can't explain it away.
No,
you can't. Like, and it's like
you can't be like they just watch. Yeah, because even in the explanation, it's gonna be awful.
You can't go explain to somebody. I'm sorry, but I'm not racist.
Yeah,
because that instantly negates it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think
and then
we
if
really.
Like, I just want you to know, my kid just watched The Lion King and see,
Yeah.
what do you
He
right?
just
So you're
assumed you
gonna dig it even worse.
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna keep digging.
He just assumed you were an animated animal.
Exactly.
Like, it's horrible. I just want to point out in these credits, though, I noticed while we were talking about something that I wish we were never talking about. It had the whole cast, and at the very bottom it said "cute Hobbit children" played by Billy and Jackson. And all I wanted to say is there's more children in that than just those two. So those are the cute ones, and all the others are the hideous dog children.
If they made a live action South Park movie, that little girl would be one of the kids that's in the crowd being cute. And, you know, they get every now and then a kid will get a line, that's that kid. Yeah. Or if they made her look like a boy, she could be, there was one right there.
Yeah, finally,
right
Todd
at the
had
end.
one. It's
She
been
could
me
be
forever.
Stan's brother from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
The little man, you know, his head bobbles
I
around.
don't, yeah.
What's his name?
It's
The young one.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but
he turns into a goth. Chris Todd.
I don't. Well, yeah, that guy knows what's going on.
You know what? The credits. So many people worked on this movie that the credits are the credits.
Oh, Are you interested in continuing this?
Credits are on another disc.
Sean Foote, there he is, prosthetics makeup.
Where?
There he goes. Oh, he's gone now.
Pause.
I'm not pausing. Let's go. Well, pausing wouldn't help. Rewind.
Miniature built. Dear God, look at all the people made this. And then they're gonna have to like list everybody that lives in New Zealand.
Well, they did a thing for the last one too that we'll see in the credits, where you could, if you joined the Lord of the Rings fan club, it like costs like $40 to join the Lord of the Rings fan club, but your name would be in the credits of the movie. And there were hundreds of people. It's like 5 minutes of just names going by. But the first name on that list, Elijah Wood.
No way.
Elijah's like, I'll put my 40 down. He's like, I'm already at the top of the goddamn credits. And they, not only that, they drew a picture of me and put my name next to it. Like, I'm all over these credits. Let's get my name down near the bottom just in case you're still here. You know what? It's like we live in a world now where like these types of movies, they require like the after the credits scene and stuff like that. I'm glad they didn't do it for this one because it had a clean ending. You don't need a tease.
Oh, like the right where they'll show like no Gandalf and bring over to the mountain, right? You know, or whatever.
Like, and that very well could have been the thing. Like, it should have showed this thing where it was just that scene where Gandalf's just in like the pure white, and they just like open his eyes, goes like, like that kind of thing that they show in the next one. But I'm glad they didn't. Like, there's no point for this one. Like, something like Marvel needs it because it goes in so many different directions that you don't know what's going to come next, and you don't know who's going to be connected next,
or what's the
and they use it to introduce people. Like, they
also keeps you through the credits.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's like, it's one of those things. Nobody.
I was reading all these names here.
Yeah, I know. Nobody can understand like the work that these people do, and like every one of these people has a hard ass job. But
well, except for the key grip.
Or that's all best boy shit. But no, but like it's so bad, and it's not like you could ever even catch up to read all these goddamn names, anyways. But it's nice. This is just your way of
What language is that?
honoring them. That's Maori, I think. Maori. I don't know how to properly pronounce.
Is that New Zealand talk?
Yeah, like
I
like the Aboriginal type. But
well, like the indigenous.
yeah.
Oh, nice. They give him a shout out. That was nice.
Yeah, but sitting. Yeah, but anyways, like sitting through these credits without sitting there and physically reading all the names because it's impossible is kind of the effort.
What if
like
you were the Micro
thanks
Machines
in
guy?
itself. No, I think even he would die. I think he's dead, actually. I think that's what happened. This
So
movie
he would
came out and
remain dead.
died. So, here's the charter members of the thing. So this one's in.
I'm reading them.
Yeah.
Daniel, Scott, Bill, Frank, Rachel, Alu, Oshit, Catherine, Erica, Ian, Christina, Laura, Timothy, Paul, Margaret.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, a lot of Acostas. There was like 5 Acostas. That means they probably spent like $200 as a family.
Imagine that was your birthday present. Would you accept that?
No. Oh, there was like 8 Alexanders.
No.
No, I would. Do you know what? Like it would be better to me than one of those like, oh, we named a star after you.
I was just gonna say, or we put money towards this charity in your name.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind that either. Like,
I do.
Okay. But like as long as it's a charity I support, like it's like, oh, we know you support this charity, so we gave them money in your name. It's not like, oh, well, we're really a big fan of this cause, so we gave them money and just said it was from you.
Right.
Like I'm like, well, that's really kind of selfish in your own selfless way.
Yes.
But yeah, so many names. Like I'm saying, it just takes for friggin'
What were they running out of money or something? Like, what did they need the $40 for?
We're on B. We're still on B. The BAs. Gonna try, and we're just gonna go forever. Let's give it up for Piers A. Bailey.
Is there? I'm guessing it would be Star Wars. If somebody if you were gonna plunk down money to have your name in the credits of a movie, it would be Star Wars.
Star Wars number 1 for me. This movie would also be, actually my friend Adam from work, he donated to the Kickstarter of this Ghostbusters documentary that's out. It's on. I think it's on Netflix right now. Ghost Heads, it's called. I think it's called Ghost Heads.
We should do a Kickstarter.
Yeah. For what?
I don't know. A movie.
Yeah. I don't have the time.
No. We just do the same thing. We say it's a movie and we charge people.
Oh, sweet.
I'm
on top of that.
There you go.
Yeah, we're fine with that. Actually, they did that for Mystery Science Theater 3000. It was a Kickstarter. And the people who donated just got to watch the first episode, even though like it doesn't come out until like the end of the week or whatever. They got like the episode released early for them.
Cool.
So you get a little something. But yeah, my buddy's in the credits for that reason because he donated to that kind of thing.
Where are we here?
We're in the BRs. Let's give it up for Russell C. Brown. I like the people who are smart enough to put their middle initial going, I've got a pretty common name. I better like throw my middle initial. Could you imagine if there were 2? So like I say Joseph F. Findlay or Joseph K. Findlay. I just forgot what my middle name was for a second. It's Kevin.
Nice.
Kevin, by the way, anybody who's looking out there. So Joseph K. Findlay. Then another Joseph K. Findlay comes up. I would literally be upset. Like I would be like, which one is me?
Yeah.
Like
what the fuck?
And the correct answer is who cares? But for me, I'm like, I don't know which one I'm like. I
throw an umlaut in there or something.
Well, because there was a thing too at Disney where you could have your name, like at Epcot, you could have your name immortalized on this thing, like it's at the front entrance, and they stopped doing it, but there's still room on this, and I'm like, all I wanted to do was put my friggin' name on that thing.
What's the deal?
I don't know, like it cost money to do it, but it's like it's there forever.
And they etch it in, like they.
Yeah, it's like an engraved thing, like placard thing that then goes on and gets added to this, like it's these like 4 stones that are at the entranceway, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at them. I'm like, I would love to have my name here, like put like or put Abby's name from her first visit, or
in that whole thing was that at the top of it said people who died at this park.
Yes. Oh no. Oh no. These are all people who were. Yeah, these are all the people who were beheaded on test track.
Exactly, or the Gators got them.
Deneen K. Copeland, we're at you right about now, and you're just about to leave, and you're gone. That's how people know whether or not they're in sync with us. Like this movie, it was long enough, and we're on C still. We're actually gonna cross. We're gonna cross 2 hours in this episode, just going through these, and I quite frankly,
And this
I
is
don't
the
give a
second
shit.
half.
Was that?
It's the second half.
Yeah.
Holy
see those people. Now we got
Lord.
people who are like sharing. Well, who's that guy? That guy, his name was Mohammed like Darovsky. I don't even know, and his middle name was Cameron. That's
I like
not
that.
acceptable. I want to find.
They should have thrown in some joke names.
Well, some of them seem a little bit like that, but I'm trying not to make fun.
Yeah. What's stopping you now? What the?
Yeah. My mom said she saw somebody whose name was Ladasha, and it was L-E and an actual dash and an A.
Oh
and
my
they
God!
pronounced
What?
Ladasha.
Oh my God! Why do I have a feeling this is like an underage mom? You know what I'm saying? Like, who in the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know.
And you know that's
anything.
it's like they're writing it down and they want to actually put DASH or whatever, but they're just like LA scratch mark and then A.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they probably argued over how they wanted it to be. Like, it's like, oh, I want it to be DACH, and it's like, oh, I want it to be SH, and blah, blah. Just, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just leave it blank. And they just, like, drew a line, and they're like, oh, that must be a dash.
I am going to name my first daughter At.
Nice. Like
the at symbol.
Oh, the at symbol?
Yep.
That's an awful... Ooh, Michael Fassbender.
Where?
It said Michael T. Fassbender.
I wonder if there's other celebrities that are in here that just as a shit, put their money in.
I would be and that's what I was looking. Oh, there's Al P. Flag. I don't know if that's funny or not.
At this point in time, I don't know.
I don't know. It's very late and we're on the F's. I didn't look to see if there were any Findleys. We got to look for Murrays.
Yes, there'll be one in there.
Yeah,
I didn't tell you that I'm in there. Imagine
that would be amazing. If a Todd Murray shows up, I'm punching you in the mouth.
Oh shit!
Yeah, here it comes.
Is the camera on?
No, it's...
Oh, well, I forgot. I was gonna say I'll let you open hand slap me if it's on. Yeah, we'll hear it too.
Yeah.
The honest to God truth. This is the deal I'll make you. No closed hand.
No.
An open hand slap. And don't even tell them. We'll see when the M's come up, and you just give her.
All right, there it is. Yeah, I'm
Don't
nervous
take my
now.
head off,
No, I won't.
Jesus.
My biggest fear is missing you and hitting my fucking microphones.
It's worth a lot more, actually.
I broke my microphone.
It's worth a lot more.
Ooh, I like that guy who threw in his nickname, Richard Great Ricky Goulart.
Yeah, did you have to pay more? What if you had like a giant name that took up the entire screen right here? Will your $40 get you that, or do you have to keep putting in?
It's my guess that you are allotted a certain number of characters,
like my Frosted Flake
like your
spoon.
Frosted Flake thing. So maybe you should put Great Ricky, like that guy. No, but like you're probably allotted a certain amount because they have to allow for some people to have long names, right?
Right.
So
I was trying to see if Lord of the Rings would fit on it. I don't think it will. I think it just misses it.
Yeah, no, it's 12. Yeah, Lord of the is that's 9,
Ring.
and then ring.
Just one.
Ring, yeah. One ring, that works.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on fucking HA, guys. Nicole
I get my
Hawker.
mouth ready. I'd work it up
Christopher
here.
J. Hawkins, Michigan, USA. And so there's two. Oh, that's why they did it. Because we just discovered what happened. I said, what if there were two Joseph K. Findleys? They gave their date. They gave their hometown next to it. Because there were two Christopher J. Hawkins. One was from Michigan. One was from Missouri.
PhD. He had to put that in there.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do. If you have to put that much money into your education to get some letters at the end of your name, you're putting it on everything. I don't care how long it takes you to write a check now. Like,
you say that to yourself? What?
Paul Hogan.
Where?
Crocodile Dundee.
That totally could be him. He's right there.
Yeah.
He probably scraped together $40.
Yeah.
He had a Kickstarter. Give me $40 so I can get my name in Lord of the Rings.
This is the last of my almost an angel money, mate.
Maiden Striker. Look at that name. Maiden Strider Hutchins Melton.
Nice.
That's the best. Oh, Felix E. Eparacra de la Casas.
Yes. Lots of Jacobs.
Where are we here, right? Jay's? Jesus, I'm getting my mouth ready. We're good, sexy open hand smack.
I'm so nervous because if it shows up, I'm going to do it. We made a deal. But I did the last thing in the world
too.
I
It's like I feel like we're doing Russian roulette here or some shit.
It really is.
Murray's a pretty common name.
Yeah. Oh, Amanda Pudd Jones. We're just literally reading names. I really hope.
Right when we hit the M's, I'm taking my glasses off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get ready.
Okay. Anybody who names the last 3 names that we name from this list, I will send like a copy of this movie to whoever emails in. No, I'll send like I'll buy the Blu. I will go out and buy the Blu-ray of this movie, extended Fellowship of the Ring.
I will give you $2 towards that.
That's fine. Hopefully I'll find it used. And I will
so
personally.
The last 3 names
we will
that we
sign
just
it
said from now, or the whole thing.
From the whole thing. When wherever we name, whoever can send the last 3 names, we will sign it or something like something that devalues it.
No, okay, this is the thing. Okay, so you'll get them a thing. I will get them a homemade T-shirt of Miscast commentary.
Nice.
That's an honest to God deal
t-shirt.
right there. So you send in the last 3 names that we say, you will get a signed copy of Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Edition, cheapest copy we can find, and a homemade shirt.
Like Holger Kunz.
Yep.
Like that's a good name.
I like that.
Like,
we're gonna bribe you now to be our fucking friends.
Well, that's how they all do it. Mark Gralf. That's almost Grafal.
Eric A. Two Eric A. Larsons.
Oh, they didn't get.
And there's no.
Oh, so all my whole theory from before.
They knew each other. So Christopher Lee.
Oh, he probably did put in. Like you'll find Elijah Wood when we get there and all that stuff.
So we got to just keep saying names right now for this thing.
Yeah, I'm happy just
George M. Lesko.
Here, I'm gonna give him a little reverse psychology. You can read off some names.
Okay.
You guys won't.
Phyllis
You
E.
won't do
Literal Shipley.
You guys don't like this show.
Stanley Living Good. Living Good. Thomas F. Lobiondo.
I will point out too, you don't have
James V. Loverde.
There you go. You don't have to get this right, like right on spelling wise. It's
yes,
like, oh,
they do.
You didn't...
Scott C. Luther. This shirt's going to cost a lot. Matthew L. McMillan.
We're getting close.
Yeah, because they would never write. Kevin.
Yeah,
oh, we're in the M's.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay, I can't read any names. I'm taking them off.
Take off.
Don't lie to me and slap me either, because I'll go through this again.
No,
I'm squinting.
Yeah, if it's not there, you owe me a slap back. Like in How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother, where like they had the slap bet and he cheated to win, so he got 5 slaps in return.
5 slaps. We're just at MA.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch that show?
No.
It was really good, and they had a thing. So he owed what's
Scott
his
McAfee.
face? He owed Jason Segel owed Neil Patrick Harris 5 slaps, and it came over the course of like a season or whatever. And the last one, it was he like created like a countdown. He's like, "What this is counting down to?" Then finally counted down, and it was Thanksgiving. And he's like, "Oh man, I love that. I love Slapsgiving." And he's like, "We have tons of time." He's like, "I love Slapsgiving." He's like, "What did you say?" He's like, "I said I love Thanksgiving." And he's like, "No, I said I love Slapsgiving. It's the time for giving slaps." And he just has him so scared and so nervous. And then finally he just plows him, and then he sings a song. And he goes, "You got slapped in the face." Like it's the
Michael
best.
Miles.
It is, for my money, it's the best serial TV show.
Really?
As far as like it's a corny
Melissa A. Mitchell.
Like it's a corny
I found it really corny.
Yeah, it's a very corny like sitcom. But as far as the continuity and stuff, like there's stuff, if they say something happened in episode 1, it's still true in episode like 150.
Jerry Death Chaser Morrow.
Oh my god, it's like, well, how does he chase death?
Whoa. Oh, we're at MU.
Here we go. Oh, it was Murphy's. There's Murray's, Karen, Keena, Margaret, Philip, Ryan, Susan, Lee Musial. There's no Todd Murray's.
Woo!
Woo! I'm really glad we didn't do this for the first part, because you are much stronger than I am.
You're gonna find out when we slept that it's all show.
Yeah. Ooh, there's
like Carrot Top.
There's two different Chotins.
Chotins? Oh my god. Like, this is the name to remember. Cynthia Esmeralda Brandybuck F. Novacek.
Love it. I was waiting for you to mispronounce Novacek after getting Esmeralda Brandybuck right. I was like, you nailed it.
I'm actually pretty good at reading names. Not gonna lie to you.
Oh, there's Barry Osborne, who was a producer of this movie. He did a cool thing during Buckleberry Ferry. I'm saying it seriously again. He was like old, like military guy. And Buckleberry Ferry was broken. I can't say. It was broken, and he like broke out like his like little military like handbook. He broke his little military handbook, and then he was just like, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna figure this out," and they just like fixed it on their own. They're like, "We're not waiting for some friggin' engineer to come and."
This guy's name is Bilbo Perks.
That That sounds to me like something you get if you spend $50 to get your name on here. You get the Bilbo perks. So yeah, Barry Osborne, who produced this, and we just talked about a little bit, and he was one of the second unit producers on this as well. He shot some of the stuff, but he was a producer behind like The Big Chill, Peggy Sue Got Married, Child's Play, Dick Tracy, Face Off, The Matrix,
Love Dick Tracy,
The Great Gatsby, and the most recent Pete's Dragon remake. That
movie was supposed to be really good, actually.
I bought it, but I haven't watched it yet. So I'm looking forward to that. It's sitting in my room with a bunch of other ones I accidentally bought from the Disney Movie Club.
Laura Quint.
Not responding fast enough to my to the thing. They're like, here's your featured title. If you don't answer it, we're just going to
send it to you like a Columbia House.
Yeah.
If you don't send us a posted letter saying you don't want this, we're going to send it to you and automatically charge you for 2.
It's a lot simpler now,
Doug
though,
Richmond.
where it's literally just an email and it's just like, just click no. That's all you got to do, and then you won't get it.
Well, not back in the day.
No, not back in the day. You had to send like
Roberts.
a smoke signal. It's like in Lord of the Rings when they like light the
Dr. Shadow J. Robinson.
Oh my God! There's no way he's not a Harlem Globetrotter.
Right? Shadow J. Wow.
There's no chance.
Abigail Rovner.
Oh, I love Abigail. That's a great name. My baby's name.
Joseph Ruiz Jr.
Oh, that's me, except I'm not Mexican.
Hassan Natasha J. Runali.
I was looking at the same name.
Yeah.
I love it.
We got the name eye, bro.
All right.
German Sanchez.
I like it.
What's that one?
What?
Okay, so if there's the dirty Sanchez where you put your finger up his butt and then make the mustache, the German Sanchez would be what? You
finger them in the butt and then you just tell them bad things about Jews. You're just like, they're terrible.
My move would be, okay, so the German Sanchez, because they're into shit porn. So you take a full-on dump onto the upper lip, making it look like a mustache, a big frilly German mustache.
I'm gonna submit that to
that's a new sex move.
Yeah. There you go. I'm going to submit that to Urban Dictionary tonight.
Don't forget the ones we came up with the couch. Remember that one you made us
what was the name?
One was the Rock of Gibraltar, and the other one you came up with was
shit.
Fuck.
I don't know. I'm going to have to read.
Yeah.
See, there's two Jeffrey L. Smiths.
German Sanchez. I can't forget that. The German Sanchez.
Oh, man. Oh, there's a guy, Gandalf D. Sullenberger. Is that Sully?
Huh?
This is Gandalf D. Sullenberger, because that's Sully, although I think it's S-U-L.
James Sperber.
That's not a great name. Sorry. How amazing would it be if like somebody who listens to this was one of the names we said.
You know what? If you are the person and we said your name and you were listening, 2 copies of the same movie.
No, I'll buy you the box set. I'll buy you the good box set new.
No, that's in 2 Fellowships of the Ring.
2 Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah, Todd will sign one, I'll sign the other.
Exactly. I don't want my name next to your name on nothing.
We'll get you one theatrical cut, one extended.
Beautiful.
There it is.
Absolutely beautiful. And one will just reenact the movie.
Yes.
You'll get a special bonus DV disc.
We'll do. Oh, actually, you know what? We'll fucking do that. We'll send you. Yeah, it'll just be a USB stick with us recreating our favorite things from the movie.
Nick Tiadin.
I didn't have time, but I wanted to do that thing. We're gonna do it for something. I want to do the Lost in Translation type thing where we take lines from like a conversation or a monologue from a movie and then run it through a bunch of translators and then back to English and then read it off.
Michael Stiang.
Yeah, that's good.
Patty Tussin.
Oh, nice. U of CSS DLBC techies.
That should be the last one you say.
If you get you have to get all those letters right, though.
There goes all like the German names here.
Because that's not spelling.
Or something.
Yeah.
Chris Vassos.
Yeah, we're almost done, guys.
Woo!
Oh my God, we crossed the 2-hour mark.
This
This has
second
been
half.
This has been no. I'm talking about for this episode. It's beyond 2 hours for just this half of the movie. But we have been for almost 15 minutes doing just this.
I like that we're sticking with it.
We're sticking with it, and this is why we.
Jia Xiang Wang.
That's a great name.
That's a good one.
That's a great name. If you are that person, you are fantastic. You know who'd be really mad? Somebody who listens to this and we read the name next to theirs. It's like, oh, you almost got me.
So
You're such
close.
an asshole. that person, whoever that person is, stops listening as of this episode. They're like, forget it. It's like, I gave these guys a chance and they literally just spit on my life. So, but we're trying not to do that. We're like,
Alan Wilburn.
Yeah, I don't have your names ahead of time. We made up most of your names, remember? And the fact that we can still count on one hand all the names that we've made up, it means that we really don't think that highly of how many fans we have.
Or not ourselves.
We think highly of our listeners, don't get me wrong. We just don't believe that you're all there.
Or real.
Yeah. Ooh, Elisar Wolvengray.
It's probably just my mom going to different computers around the city and signing in.
Yes.
Sending it over to California. Steven Yandel.
Troy Wunderlich.
What?
Yes. That guy, he's got his shit
Troy
together.
Wonder. That was a good one.
He is.
That's almost good as German
Sanchez.
German Sanchez.
All right. And Sonny Zwierkowski.
Simon Zwiekhorst.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much for sticking it out with us. We hope you did. We will be back next week. We're gonna announce our next movie. We're gonna give you a little hint ahead of time. It's going to be the movie. It's gonna celebrate for us. It's gonna be a little bit afterwards, but it's gonna celebrate July 4th and Canada Day, and it's gonna be a little bit after. So it celebrates those two countries, and one of us may or may not actually be in the movie.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah, what about it?
It looks like your TV screen's like lowering. It's something is happening.
Yeah.
Is that just me? And yes, that's the truth. One of us just might be in it. Maybe because we've been staring at the screen for 15 hours, and now like I got the Lord of the Ring eye happening. I close my eyes and I see the font of names.
There's a good
it's
chance.
Like burned in.
Yeah, anyways, guys, we've gone way over time, so we want to stop this now.
What a surprise.
Yeah, well, usually we stop shows at 2:30, and then we split those into a half, and we're at like 2:10 after splitting this movie in half.
Woo.
So thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you
Thank
enjoyed.
you.
We will be doing the other ones further down in the future. Well, again, we don't want to just like get them all out of our system right now. We want to.
I gotta have something to look forward to in my life.
We like to come back and revisit Middle Earth from time to time. So in the meantime, tune in next week. We're going to announce what we're doing the following week, and we'll have some more fun for you. And to you guys, it's summertime. Still spring. We're recording these ahead of time. It's springtime right now.
Oh,
but for you,
yes.
it's summer. So hopefully you like woke up first thing in the morning and you had like a wake and bake, and then you did this. And so now go outside and see
Hopefully
what that does for
when you woke up in the morning and you saw your morning wood, you instantaneously thought of Miscast commentary and then turned it on.
Yes. Hopefully because you have a tattoo.
Oh, or a sticky note that you stuck on before you went to bed. So right when you wake up, you're like, oh, hey.
Mm-hmm. It just says MY, and then you get your morning wood, and then it says Miscast commentary, because your penis is huge.
That's right.
Because anybody who listens to this show who's a person who should have a penis or who would want a penis, because somebody who wants a penis should have a penis.
I agree.
You know, that's
get
just
that penis.
Gender fluidity, baby. We're on board.
I like gender fluids.
Oh, we found a hidden surprise.
Hey!
Literally, oh my God, we're going to go through this. We've been on the menu for a while. And
oh my God.
So this is, oh my God, I'm freaked out. Peter Jackson's just talking to us. He said, you found the hidden surprise. So
there
stay
is
on
a
the menu.
secret scene. You just said after they didn't have to have like a thing after, and here it is.
This technically is it. We were back in the menu for too long, and it's like, oh, hey, check this out.
Christmas.
Oh, this is the trailer for the
Two Towers.
All right, well, we'll talk about it. We were gonna turn off.
We've gone this far.
I have no idea how long this is gonna take. This could be 20 minutes.
This is one of those previews where none of the movie was shot yet, so they just throw in old ones.
Yeah. Well, at this point, like, because the way they did these was the movie came out like mid-December, then the DVD came out in like March or whatever it was,
right?
Like the theatrical cut. Then the extended came out in like November. So you're getting this like you have seen the trailers and all that.
Look at this. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a ruiner. They should not show this.
No. Yeah, that was a
This shouldn't have been in the preview.
No, they should have shown, if there was going to be anything, they should have shown one scene.
It's just faces. Like, all they're doing is showing faces of people and, like, a sword coming out of the hilt.
And because most of these people weren't in the first movie, there's no context. There's that.
There he is. There's Worm Tongue.
And people worked on a bunch of people worked on Child's Play, and he was in Child's Play, so it's all good. Orcs. Well, or like, hi.
The Two Towers.
The Two Towers. They had a very hard time with
The
this.
Twin Towers.
They shot this, and well, the first movie came out in 2001, right after all this was kind of happening. Like, this was like all this crazy. I think, yeah, it was 2001, 2002, 2003.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, and so like this was all very fresh, and they're talking about the Two Towers over and over again, and they were like, should we like do something about this? And it's like, I don't know what you do. The movie's called The Two Towers. They say it a few times. Like there's no insult meant towards it. It's not
Right.
like they snuck it in.
Well,
Just
not to mention that the story was written for a long time ago.
Yeah, but I think so was 9/11.
I agree.
It was written
You're damn right it was. I totally agree with that.
by the Morlocks. Who are they? That's how you get out of a conspiracy theory. You just name a thing.
I thought you were going to say something else.
What did you? I don't
I'm
want to
not
know.
even saying it.
Oh, I know.
You were like, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, what?
This episode has been really hard on us. I think it's actually harder for us to do this episode than it was for them to do the movie. See, look how good that cake would look if that was.
I know, right?
I know. That's that horse scene when they're all going down that hill. I'm like, I'm all for fantasy, but that's not possible. All these
This
other
is
things.
a shitty preview.
Yeah, it's really.
It's too long.
It's too long.
And it's
giving
showing
away
too much.
Giving away way too much. I don't want to know a thing. Like, I don't want to see these crowds even, because like when you see the crowds when you watch this movie for the first time, you're like, oh, you're like literally taken over by it, and you're like, oh. But like, I could tell you every single one of these shots and
It's
what
the
it's
best
from.
battle scene like ever filmed,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm. By a lot. Like,
He was good too.
It's so grand.
Which one is the one where Buddy's eating the Marion or Pippin is singing and he's like,
Oh, yeah, Denethor.
Yeah, he's eating the fucking
Here, I'll
little
sing.
tomatoes.
I'll sing a little bit of that song. Home is behind the world ahead. Nope, the credits are done. This is done. We're fucking better.
Fuck this. Please turn up or something else comes on.
Yeah, you got another surprise.
Oh,
No.
my.
All right, guys.
Welcome to the behind the scenes.
Tune in next week. I promise you we're not going to extend this another minute. All right. See you then.
See you then.